I hadn't started, yes. Okay, I'm going to call to order the April 14th, 2026 regular meeting in the Board of Education per Government Code Section 54950 at Sequitur and Education Code Section 35140 at Sequitur at the District Educational Center, 1301 East Orangethorpe Avenue, Placentia at 5:31. I'm seeing nobody here for comments for public or for our closed session. So we are going to now adjourn to closed session for the purpose of discussing the following matters. 3.1 Public Employee Discipline, Dismissal, Suspension, Release, Leave, Assignment, Non-Reelection, Non-Reappointment, Resignation, Reinstatement pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. 3.2 Conference with Labor Negotiators, Dr. Kim LeBlanc Esparza, Superintendent, Dr. John Papalardo, Chief Business Officer, Chad McGough, Assistant Superintendent, Human Services for CSEA, Apple and Plum. And 3.3 Conference with Legal Counsel, Anticipated Litigation, Significant Exposure to Litigation pursuant to Subdivision B3A of Government Code Section 54956.9, one case. And with that, we'll adjourn at 5:32. Ready. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to call us back into regular session. We're going to reconvene at 6:34 p.m. And we have nothing to report out of closed session tonight. And if you'll join me, please stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Let the record show that all board members are present, including our student board member. Good evening, Simran. All right, so we'll start with the approval of agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Was that you, Todd? Yeah. Okay, motion by Mrs. Blade, second by Mr. Frazier. Any comments? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 with an aye from our student board member. Okay, that brings us to our public comment announcement. We have public comment cards available in the foyer. Cards must be completed and turned in prior to the designated time for public comment. We'll provide a maximum of 3 minutes a person, and if we need translation, we can give you another 3 minutes. If that is the case at future board meetings, please let us know ahead of time so we can prepare as much as we can. We do have a civility policy. It's Ed Code 221 or 220, prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability, gender identity, gender expression, nationality, race or ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or any other characteristic that is contained in the definition of hate crimes set forth in section 422.55 of the Penal Code, including immigration status. Additionally, if there are any disruptions or interference in the board's ability to conduct our meeting, the disruptive parties will be given one warning, and if the disruption continues, you'll be informed that the board president has found you disruptive in violation of Penal Code Section 403, Ed Code Section 32210, and the board president will order you removed from the meeting under Government Code Section 54957.9 and 54957.95. If removing one or several disruptive parties does not restore order, the board president will exercise the authority to clear the room in accordance with Government Code Section 54957. Okay, so on with our meeting. We'll bring to approval of minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting of March 10th, 2026 minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Anderson, a second by Mrs. Quintero. Any comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 And we have 5-0 with an aye from our student board member. All right, so now we're at recognitions, and I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Kim.
I am excited this evening that we have a boardroom full of students that we get to recognize and schools that we get to recognize for a number of different accomplishments and or awards that they have been given. We're going to start with Tuffrey Middle School, and I'm going to hand that over to Mike Young to introduce the team from Tuffrey and recognize them for their honor and accomplishment.
All right, good evening. President Buck, trustees, superintendent, Dr. Kim, and executive cabinet members. Tonight, it is my distinct privilege to recognize Tuffrey Middle School for earning the prestigious distinction of being named a 2026 California Distinguished School, the state's highest honor for K-12 campuses. The Falcons are no strangers to this esteemed recognition, having also earned the title in 2021. At this time, I would like to invite Ms. Sarah Barton, the exceptional principal of Tuffrey Middle School, to join me at the lectern. Congratulations.
Okay.
Stay. The 2026 California Distinguished Schools Program is California's flagship recognition initiative, honoring campuses for exceptional achievements in 3 categories: closing the achievement gap, exceptional student performance, and, new this year, beacons of opportunity. Since its inception in 1985, the program has recognized schools, districts, teachers, and classified employees for their dedication to student success, innovation, and educational excellence. This year, the California Department of Education selected distinguished schools based on a rigorous analysis of the California School Dashboard, focusing on academic achievement, growth, and positive school climate. Only 42 middle and high schools in all of Orange County and 406 schools statewide earned this remarkable distinction. Tuffrey Middle School attributes this recognition to a collective commitment made 3 years ago to level up. Through this focus, staff have strengthened instructional practices, supported one another, and ensured that every student leaves Tuffrey better than when they first arrived. This recognition reflects the dedication of staff, the connectedness of students, and the strong culture of the Tuffrey community. Over the past several years, the school has removed a significant attendance barrier by establishing a bus route serving students from the farthest feeder school, strengthened best first instruction by refining lessons with clear learning intentions and success criteria, while emphasizing small group and partner discussions, expanded support for multilingual learners with the EL coordinator and team providing EL and GLAD strategies at every staff meeting, grown the AVID program from 2 to 4 sections, including the addition of AVID Excel, and added a dual language academy. Tuffrey Middle School looks forward to continuing to rise together and level up for many years to come. Tuffrey Middle School will be formally recognized by the California Department of Education at the Disneyland Hotel in Anaheim on April 24th, 2026. We would like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to the entire Tuffrey Middle School community on this outstanding achievement, and please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause. I would now like to invite Ms. Barton to shake hands with our board and join us for a group photo to commemorate the achievement. You want her back here, back here, around there?
You want me to go this way?
Let's go back.
Lorelli's pointing out. I'll carry her. I'll give it to her.
We're going to continue the theme of celebration, and I'm going to turn this again over to Mr. Mike Young to help us honor and congratulate the Valencia High School Academic Decathlon team.
Thank you very much. Next, we are extremely proud to recognize the Valencia High School Academic Decathlon team, who once again brought distinction to PYL USD with an outstanding performance at both the county and state levels. I'd like to invite Valencia High School's academic decathlon team and coaches to come forward and join me at the lectern. Yeah. Hi. All right. Founded in Orange County in 1968, the Academic Decathlon is a rigorous scholastic competition that challenges students across 10 subject areas. In addition to written exams, students participate in interviews, deliver prepared and impromptu speeches, and compete in the fast-paced super quiz relay. At this year's Orange County Academic Decathlon, featuring more than 30 high school teams, the theme was the Roaring Twenties. Valencia delivered an exceptional performance, earning second place in Division I and capturing first place in the Super Quiz. The Tigers brought home more than 61 individual medals that you might have heard across all 10 disciplines, including social science, science, literature, music, mathematics, art, economics, essay, speech, and interview. 6 students earned top 10 honors, and 3 were recognized with individual excellence awards and scholarships from the Orange County Department of Education. In total, the team earned over $7,000 in scholarships, securing their place at the state competition. This achievement marks the 18th consecutive year Valencia has advanced to the state level, an extraordinary testament to the program's consistency and excellence. Competing against top teams from across California, Valencia earned second place in Division II, second place in the Super Quiz, and placed 12th overall, ranking among the top 40 to 50 academic decathlon programs in the nation. Students, please raise your hand when your name is called. Audience, please hold your applause until all names have been announced. Also, a fun highlight this year, the team includes 2 sets of siblings. So please help us recognize the following outstanding Valencia Tigers: Ashna Shah, Ansh Shah, Amy Soon, Mateo Mastaz, Lindsay Lim, Lindsay, Netra Rajkumar, Nikhil Netra Rajkumar, Leonardo Nguyen, and Ian Lee. Leading Valencia's outstanding team is head coach Kaylin Rao, assisted by Caitlin Reuter. Please join me in giving the team another well-deserved round of applause. We are also pleased to recognize Valencia High School Principal Mr. Chris Hertzfeld, who joins us tonight in support of his accomplished students. Congratulations on an incredible season. Tigers, you make PYL, USD, and Valencia High School very proud. On behalf of the Board of Education and the district, please accept certificates of achievement that I'll hand you right after you do your handshakes and stuff. And let's give these remarkable students one more big round of applause. They're going to come down to you. Annunciation. New York. Rutabaga.
Isn't it the old acting one? Back in your acting days, they made you do it with all
She grew over late in college.
Not for me, I'm retired.
5'2", yeah. 6'1".
There it is. The lectern is still there. Jeremy, like a step away. You're moving this
Yeah. It says.
And we are going to keep the celebrations going. I'm going to invite Dr. Taylor Holloway up because she is going to help me honor the El Dorado High School Girls Basketball CIF State Division III Championship Team.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Kim. Tonight, it is my pleasure to recognize the El Dorado High School girls basketball team for an extraordinary and historic season. At this time, I would like to invite the Golden Hawks and their coaches to please come forward and join us up front. So this remarkable team captured the CIF Southern Section Division 4A Championships with a victory over La Cañada. They then advanced to win the CIF SoCal regional title with a hard-fought 61-56 win over Lusinger, and ultimately secured the CIF State Division III Championship, defeating Valley Christian of San Jose 42-40, close game, at the Golden One Center, led by 15 points from senior Delaney Shiring. Congratulations, Golden Hawks. What makes this journey even more inspiring is how it began. The Golden Hawks entered the CIF playoffs as an at-large team after finishing third in their league. With grit and perseverance, they went on a postseason run, winning their final regular season games just to qualify for CIF. And they ultimately made history by earning the program's very first CIF Southern Section title since 1976, and the first ever state championship appearance and victory. Woohoo! Congrats. And it goes on, it gets more exciting. Their success has also been recognized at the highest levels. Head coach Matt Raya has been named 2026 Coach of the Year. Congratulations. Senior Delaney Shiring has been named 2026 Division IV Player of the Year. Congratulations. And now to recognize each of these outstanding student athletes. So students, please raise your hand or step forward, your choice, when your name is called. Audience members, please hold your applause until the end. Capri Angelopoulos. She didn't make it? Oh, okay, congrats, Capri. Izzy Chung. Erin Dunham. Catherine Dunham. I like stepping forward. It looks good, yeah. Leica Huang. Ale Macias, Riley Morikawa, Kenna Oliveira, Lexi Oliveira, didn't make it, Delaney Shiring, Kennedy Wood, Karis Wu, Jasmine Young, and Elena Zamora. And leading our state champs are head coach Matt Raya, assistant coaches Brian Wood, Jasmine Perez, Tucker Raya, and Danielle Rummery. And as you may have noticed, family is truly at the heart of this program. This year's team includes 2 sets of siblings, raise your hands, and that sense of connection extends throughout the entire program. Assistant coach Brian Wood is Kennedy Wood's father, and assistant coach Tucker Raya is head coach Matt Raya's son. Coach Raya's wife also served as the team's scorekeeper, making this a true family effort on and off the court. How sweet. That legacy runs even deeper. The Golden Hawks Gymnasium is named in honor of Coach Raya's late father, Joe Raya, who dedicated years of service to El Dorado High School as an equipment and maintenance manager, athletic trainer, and school custodian. His legacy continues to inspire this program today. So please join me in giving this exceptional team a well-deserved round of applause. We're also very proud to recognize El Dorado High School Principal, Mr. Mike Zides. I know you're here in the audience. Many of you may not know, but we thank Mr. Zides for surprising his team and traveling on the bus for 9 hours with them to Sacramento just to support them. So that was amazing. So congratulations to all of you on an unforgettable season. You've made El Dorado High School and PYLUSD incredibly proud. On behalf of the Board of Education and the district, please accept the certificates I'm about to hand you. At this time, I'd like to invite you to come forward and take a photo with our board members, and one last round of applause for them.
We might be getting a little. Oh, perfect. Todd's got some too. I think that should be it. Perfect. Yep.
They're no expense. Trophy.
There you go.
I need to get sick. I just want your attention.
Yes.
You have twins, right?
Well, they're considered
Yeah, our last one was twins. I like all your twins. Even twins strong. Honestly, it's just, oh, yeah. And then we get all so much same start. Yep.
so this expands the preference. So then
I'm going to leave some of these pins for those on your team that aren't here just to make sure that they get to you. You can get them from Lorley. Let's give them all another big round of applause as they leave. Nice job. All right, gotcha. All right, thank you again for celebrating with us. And now it's time for our student board member report. And Simran, I'll pass it to you.
Good evening, President Buck, trustees, and Superintendent Dr. Kim, and executive cabinet members. I'm excited to be here tonight to share recent updates from our comprehensive high schools and alternative campuses. Parkview is proud to share that its WASC mid-cycle visit was successful. As a result, the school's accreditation has been reaffirmed through the remainder of the current cycle, extending through June 30th, 2029. El Camino Real High School is proud to share that senior Justina Diaz represented PUL-USD in the Association of California School Administrators Every Student Succeeding Awards program. Justina was one of the 31 students from across Orange County recognized for her resilience and success in overcoming significant life obstacles. At the award ceremony held at the Bowers Museum, she was selected from the group of honorees to represent Orange County at the state level. Justina has also received prizes and scholarship funding in recognition of her achievements. In addition, El Camino Real High School recently hosted a successful Spring Family Night, welcoming more than 120 students and family members. The school is now preparing for an exciting final stretch of the year, with upcoming highlights including Future Ready Day, an inaugural flag football game, prom, and special events celebrating graduating seniors. El Dorado's staff recently hosted the 15th annual Faculty Follies to a full house in the Performing Arts Center. The event, which raises funds for senior scholarships, generated $5,000 in support of Golden Hawk seniors. During spring break, the El Dorado baseball program hosted the nationally recognized National Baseball Classic, welcoming teams from across the country for a competitive and well-attended tournament. Prior to break, El Dorado also hosted the Future Hawks Night, welcoming incoming 8th grade students and their families for performances, program information, and a preview of campus opportunities, showcasing the school's strong culture and spirit. Looking ahead, the El Dorado High School choral program will present its annual 2-night concert, Prism, this weekend in the Performing Arts Center. Both performances will begin at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, featuring this year's theme, Songs from the Movies. All are invited to attend. Esperanza High School recently wrapped up its annual Clash of the Classes week, highlighted by strong school spirit and student engagement. Congratulations to the senior class for earning this year's win through outstanding leadership and sportsmanship. The Performing Arts Department is preparing for its spring musical, Little Shop of Horrors, running Thursday through Saturday in the EHS Theater. Athletics are also concluding their seasons, with several teams advancing towards CIF competition. Student achievement in the arts continued to shine. Show choir earned first place at its last 2 competitions. Orchestra received all superior ratings at the Southern California School Band and Orchestra Association Festival, and jazz band students recently worked with the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra and will perform at the Essential Ellington Festival later this month. In addition, Medical Academy students earned top honors at the HOSA Future Health Professional State Leadership Conference, including a gold medal in community awareness and a silver medal in human growth and development. Venture Academy students are looking forward to an upcoming bowling activity at Titan Lanes at California State University Fullerton on May 7th, followed by lunch. This experience is funded through proceeds earned by students during the Holiday Boutique, with appreciation extended to all who support the event. On May 8th, Venture will host its spring dance, Luau in Paradise, from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at the Extended Learning Center, featuring dinner and an evening of music and celebration. In collaboration with George Key School, students are also preparing for the annual Ride Walkathon and Carnival on April 24th, where Venture students will support and celebrate alongside Key students and community partners. On March 27th, Valencia High School welcomed 200 visiting middle school students from Japan for an authentic American high school day. Valencia students led campus tours, hosted the group at the annual Clash of the Classes assembly at Bradford Stadium, and showcased student life through a special Tiger Tube broadcast. Valencia's esports teams are also concluding a strong season, with the Mario Kart team advancing to the CIF quarterfinals and the Super Smash Bros. Team competing in a closely contested second-round match. Yorba Linda High School recently celebrated its annual Olympics rally, featuring a week of friendly competition and school spirit, with the junior classes earning this year's victory. The Mustang Theater Department also concluded a successful spring production of The Music Man, performing to sold-out audiences. Students are now preparing for a musical cabaret performance in May. As the school enters testing season, students are preparing for upcoming AP and state assessments while also looking ahead to end-of-year celebrations, including prom on May 23rd. That concludes my report this evening.
Thank you, Simran. And I have a question for you before we conclude your portion. What do you wish every parent, community member, and local partner understood about the strengths of PYL-USD schools and students?
I wish every parent, community member, and local partner understood that PYL-USD students are incredibly driven, diverse, and capable, and that our schools do a lot more than just prepare us academically. We're learning how to think critically, collaborate, and lead through a wide range of opportunities, whether that's in the classroom, extracurriculars, or career-focused programs. Our teachers and staff genuinely care and push us to succeed, and there's a strong sense of community that supports student growth. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great answer. I'd love to hear that. And great job for the report tonight. Okay, so that brings us to public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for the public to provide input. Pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped right over that. I moved too far ahead. So before we do that, we're going to have Dr. Kim give us an update. Your turn.
I have a few things. Okay. Good evening, President Buck, trustees, and executive cabinet members. It's great to see you all this evening. Feels like it's been a little bit of time since we've seen each other here with spring break, and I hope you had an opportunity to enjoy some quality time and do some things that you enjoy. Following spring break, I had the opportunity to attend the ASU plus GSB Power of Fusion Conference, which is held here in San Diego annually. I look forward to this event because in the past it's given me the opportunity to connect with leaders from around the country around topics like reimagining the high school experience, AI and preparing our students for the workforce in the world, and using technological tools to personalize instruction and bridge the gaps so that all our students succeed. I want to thank Mike Young and Dr. Liz Leon for attending with me this year, and I hope to share this opportunity with more of our leaders next year. It's a great opportunity for learning. OC Artist of the Year. I'm going to change gears a bit. The Orange County Register recently announced the 2026 nominees for their annual Artist of the Year awards. Each nominee has been recognized in one of several artistic disciplines, including fine arts, dance, theater, instrumental music, vocal music, film and television, fine arts, and media arts. This year, a total of 76 high school students from PYL-USD have received nominations across 7 categories. All nominations were recognized by their teachers for their outstanding abilities, and after the nomination process, a panel of arts educators will conduct in-person interviews to choose the Artist of the Year semifinalists. The awards semifinalists will be announced on Sunday, April 19th, and then the Artist of the Year from each discipline will be announced in public awards celebration on Wednesday, May 13th. We're proud of our visual and performing arts students and teachers for their dedication to artistic excellence, and we look forward to hearing the results in the coming weeks. Speaking of art, Artworks. If you've not yet had the opportunity to visit, we invite all parents, students, and community members to attend our annual student art exhibition, Artworks. It is currently on display at the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum. The exhibition is open to the public throughout the month of April from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., showcasing the remarkable talent and creativity of our students across the district. Board President Buck and I recently had the pleasure of touring the exhibition together, where we hoped to select 6 pieces for our PYL collection. However, we selected easily double that. We had exceptional pieces. And our intention is to purchase those pieces from our student artists and preserve them as a part of the PYL USD Student Art Collection, an exciting and growing initiative that will celebrate student artistry. Following the exhibition, these selected works will be displayed in the boardroom behind the dais, with additional pieces added annually to build a lasting visual legacy of student creativity in PYL. To further extend the celebration of the arts, pieces from the collection may be rotated and displayed in conference rooms and offices across the district, allowing more members of our community to enjoy and be inspired by the outstanding work of our students. Avid Senior Standout. Sorry, I told you I had quite a bit. Tomorrow evening, 4 outstanding PYL USD high school seniors will be recognized at the annual Avid Senior Standout Recognition and Scholarship Night, hosted by the Orange County Department of Education. This celebration honors seniors from across Orange County for their academic achievement, leadership, and determination. Each honoree is introduced by a teacher or school representative and recognized with a certificate and medallion in acknowledgement of their accomplishments. We're proud to celebrate the following PYL USD students. From El Dorado High School, Isaac Lobatos. From Esperanza High School, Aaliyah Jeremy Ariola. From Valencia High School, Bella Castrillon Juarez. From Yorba Linda High School, Braylene Easley. We congratulate these exceptional students on well-deserved recognition and celebrate the dedication and perseverance that brought them to this moment. Thank you. I want to speak just for a moment to the student transfer process that has occurred through this spring. I want to acknowledge we received a sizable number of applications within the transfer process this spring, and it is taking longer than usual to process and approve all of these applications. I want to apologize to the families who've had to wait, and in some cases, a few weeks within this process. When you're a growing district and you have significant amounts of resource invested in your district, you can process these quickly and figure out staffing and capacity later. However, we're in a declining enrollment structure, like many other districts in our area, and the fact that we're operating with a budget that used some of our reserves, we want to be very thoughtful and careful. So we've been developing master schedules for next year, looking at enrollments, and planning for a more balanced budget going into the 26-27 school year. So it has taken time for us to process this, in fact, more time than it has typically taken in the past. So I appreciate the student services team for working collaboratively to help develop a process, and who have had to field many, many questions from families throughout this process. Thank you for your patience and your grace, and thank you for the work that you've done on behalf of our families. I apologize that it has had to take as long as it has, but with new systems in place, we're confident that the amount of delay will not be something that our families experience in the future. 2027 Orange County Teacher of the Year. We are proud to share that among the 15 educators across Orange County selected as semifinalists for the prestigious 2027 Orange County Teacher of the Year program, 2 of our very own outstanding teachers, Rebecca Bonet of Valencia High School and Jenna Rasick of Golden Elementary School, have been recognized for their dedication, innovation, and impact in the classroom. Both exemplify the excellence, passion, and commitment to student success that define PYL USD educators. Can we give them a round of applause? As semifinalists, they will advance as official nominees and be recognized at the 2027 Orange County Teachers of the Year banquet to be held on November 13th at the Disneyland Hotel. We look forward to celebrating their achievements alongside educators from all across the county. Strategic visioning and planning. As part of the strategic visioning and planning process, PYL-USD is engaging a wide range of voices across our school community. Starting this Thursday, the district is hosting 5 community forums open to families, staff, and community members. Each session will offer interpretation services, free dinner, and childcare for students in grades TK through 6. To learn more about it, you can visit pylusd.org strategic planning. Over the past 3 months, we've engaged with students, staff, parents, and community in a myriad of settings. In fact, at this point, over 800 people have participated in one of our processes so far. I'm grateful for the opportunity to build my perspective on all of these voices. It's helped me to get to know a real sense of what matters to our community and what our students' dreams are for their future. I look forward to bringing back a strategic plan proposal based on all of this feedback to our Board of Education at the June 2nd board meeting. And finally, I want to welcome Dr. Candace Perez, who has been able to join us here at the dais this evening as our new Deputy Superintendent. Congratulations and welcome, Candace. We are grateful to have her as a leader, as a part of Team PYL-USD. And this concludes my report for this evening.
Well, thank you. That's a lot of great information and great things to celebrate. And welcome, Candace. Okay, now that brings us to public comment, and it is an opportunity for the public to provide input to the Board of Education. During the public comment period, board members do not dialogue with the speakers or make comments regarding the information shared. We have 21 people wishing to speak tonight, and that breaks down to 1.5 minutes each. So Jeremy's got that covered for us. We have some seats up front. I will call the first 5, and you can sit up front, and we'll just rotate through from there. So Jeffrey Cash, Janelle Smith, Heather Falcone, Aaron Luo, and Jaden Avalos. And when you come up, if you would repeat your first name, and then we'll go ahead and make comments from there. Okay, so first will be Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey Cash. I just wanted to quickly share some concerns about what I feel are the changes in the Parkview program. There are changes coming in next year that are undermining what has been a program of excellence that is focused on hands-on learning, and they're pushing everything towards the online tooling for the middle school and the high school programs. I feel like they're just eroding what's made this a fantastic, high-performing program with a history of excellence. And frankly, if we want an online school, there's other options available to us that'll better serve the children. And on top of that, I feel like they are not serving our kids very well this year for the school year because they're ending classes 7 weeks earlier at Parkview than any other school in PYL-USD. So that's it.
Janelle.
I ditto. My daughter has been part of Parkview School for 5 years. And in the recent year and a half, there's been a marked change in the environment. Parents, teachers, and students have begun to feel that they're no longer stakeholders. And what was once a warm campus has seen a diminishment in their student population. With the inclusion of BVVA, there should be a full and thriving student body, which is now diminished by half, which is rare for any school. In regards to online education, we are both online and we have always been homeschool. We are now apparently next year removing the homeschool portion of our title according to our principal. We are also in her last meeting setting new standards apparently for our graduating high school seniors. It appears in her last PowerPoint that somehow our curriculum is subpar. And if we have subpar curriculum, why, regardless of the quality of our teachers, would we want to have our students in a school with subpar curriculum? If we wanted to teach online, there are many schools that we could go to. We could go to any charter that we'd like. We have students that come from many cities, not just this district. And again, if we had our choice, which is what we thought Parkview was, then we would. Thank you.
Heather?
President Buck, trustees, Superintendent Dr. Kim, and executive board members, thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. My name's Heather Falcone, and I am a Parkview parent. We have been at Parkview for 14 years. Our son started in first grade, and he now is turning 20. I made a 20-year-old. I can't handle it. I'm here because my sons have been served by Parkview for that long, and we have relocated 5 times. Each time, we've selected Parkview as an interdistrict transfer because of the strength of the program, because of what it offered to our neurodivergent children. Dominic struggles with autism. He's a headbanger. He sat in the corner of his classroom. Promised I wouldn't do this, y'all. Excuse me. He sat in the corner in kindergarten and he banged his head on the floor for hours. But when he came to Parkview, he found a teacher that believed in him, and he kept that teacher for the last 14 years. This year, he does not. He now has 6 teachers, and so does my younger son, Lucas. We are asking very simple requests. Pause the current implementation of the changes. Reopen the dialogue with parents and teachers. Evaluate the real impact on students, especially those that are most vulnerable and have specifically requested Parkview for their disabilities. Restore the structure that provides consistency, accountability, and relationship-based learning, particularly with supervising teachers. Thank you.
Sorry.
Are you Jaden?
We're switching places.
Aaron? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to go first.
Okay. Hi, PYLUSD Board of Education. My name is Avery, and I'm a senior at Yorba Linda High School. I'm speaking in regards to the environmental literacy and sustainability resolution that's being spoken on in the agenda tonight. For the public's information, the resolution calls on PYLUSD to seek to integrate climate literacy content into curricula, encourage student-led environmental advocacy initiatives, and to connect educators with updated climate and sustainability content. For the past year, a student group and I, the PYLUSD Climate Coalition, have been drafting this resolution and building support for it throughout our community. We conducted a survey among our student body and collected over 450 PYLUSD student endorsements, as well as endorsements from over 1,600 community members and local organizations, including parents and educators. As climate change will inevitably impact the future of our economy, job markets, and educator and local ecosystems, this issue is especially important to us. Our generation is disproportionately affected by these changes, and we are very optimistic that PYLUSD will join the movement towards environmental literacy that is taking place across the nation and in our state. We see this resolution as a critical step in recognizing the role of education in climate action and setting a precedent for other districts and local governments in our area to reject complacency on climate. Thank you.
Avery, I didn't recognize you in person, so nice to see you.
Nice.
Okay, so next we have Jaden.
Good evening. Thank you for letting us speak tonight. My name is Jaden Aviles. I am a senior at Valencia High School. And today, CO2 concentrations have hit 425 ppm, roughly 50% higher than pre-industrial levels. This shift has already impacted agriculture and global business. To restore our atmosphere to safe levels, we must look toward large-scale, nature-based removal of legacy pollutants. Many people do not realize that we already possess the scientific knowledge to reverse climate change. So what we need is implementation. Bridging science and action starts in classrooms with comprehensive and updated content on climate and environmental science. Thank you.
Okay, our next 5 speakers are Linda Francetti, Jesse Fleming, Shandy Murray, Dylan Nguyen, and Chris Paquette. And Linda, we'll start with you. And I apologize if I got your last name wrong.
Franceschi. Good evening, board. I am here to talk about Parkview. I was there as one of the beginning families of this school. We saw it grow from just a few students to one of the largest classes that we had at the time. My granddaughter is now in that school. She has blossomed. She has made many friendships and learned many social skills that these students didn't have before. She's brought several students that have never come out of their home, and they've blossomed and made friendships and tried new experiences. I've watched this school, though, the last couple of years go downhill. It takes a village, and a lot of these parents were promised things that have not happened and have not been part of the original plan of the school. I don't know at what level that this is being caused, but I think at this point it needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jessie, and I also was an original parent at Parkview in 2001. Parkview was a gem. You guys have an amazing program. I raised 3 children, involved for 18 years. Our original vision came from Ed Leon, who you took from CHEP, and you said you wanted to start a district program that was above all else throughout all of California. And it worked that way with the parents and the students being involved. Our first t-shirt shows how homeschool has people like Thomas Edison, C.S. Lewis, Albert Einstein, George Washington. I could go on, but I don't have the time. That was our view. Our vision was to learn, to school at home, and love to learn. My 3 children love to learn today, and they're doing excellent in their 20s, moving on to great things. And so are so many other Parkview students that left. We were a village. The teachers were not just the teachers. We actually helped hire the first teacher because it was the parents, 15 families. We went to 30 families, 60 families, 120 families. We had people coming from all over the state to see our program because it was the best program in the state. And now our vision is being turned upside down. We used to have a triangle like this. Principal, he helped the teachers, teachers helped the parents, parents, the kids were on top. My kids all taught programs. My son did a chess club for K through 8 for 4 years. They all were involved in helping the younger students. And now all of that's gone. The students aren't involved, parents aren't involved, and it's gone upside down triangle. Please change it.
Shani? Shani, then Dylan, then Chris.
Hi, my name is Shani Murray, and I'm here in support of the students of the PYL-USD Climate Coalition, asking you to pass Resolution 2530, Advancing Environmental Literacy and Sustainability. It is our responsibility to ensure future generations have the scientific knowledge needed to understand climate change and its far-reaching impact on society, so they are prepared to build tomorrow's sustainable solutions. It is also imperative that the district invest in and prioritize its own energy-saving solutions. I appreciate this resolution's focus on curriculum integration, professional development, student engagement, community partnerships, and sustainable practices. I also like that the superintendent will report back on progress made in 18 months. Please listen to the students and pass this resolution, exemplifying your commitment to their future. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for letting us speak tonight. My name is Dylan Nguyen. I'm a senior at Placentia High School. And with Earth Day approaching, I think it is important to note that our state is already moving in the direction towards climate restoration. In 2023, the California Senate passed Resolution 34, making us the first state to formally recognize an obligation to restore a safe climate for future generations. This resolution calls for international cooperation to stabilize greenhouse gas levels, and by adopting our local resolution today, PYLUSD aligns itself with state leadership and shows our students that their local government takes their future seriously. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me present here. My name is Chris, and I am here in support of the Environmental Literacy Resolution 2530. I live in Yorba Linda. I'm a retired school teacher, and throughout my teaching career, I focused on science, and now I volunteer teaching ocean literacy. So implementing this climate literacy education naturally meets grade level NGS standards, and it can easily be taught across subjects to provide interdisciplinary integration. It has widespread student support as well as community support. Orange County Board of Supervisors has implemented developing a climate action plan. Climate issues are real and not political issues. The least we can do is give our youth the tools needed to be environmentally literate and encouragement and support in becoming empowered agents of positive solutions. I love that this group is proposing this resolution, and it's not just dwelling on what is happening now, but is looking forward to real solutions and strategies to restore the environment back to being healthy again. And I believe that it is our moral obligation to support this resolution. Thank you.
This is Avery, so I'm gonna, okay, so it was Aaron Luo? That was the one where Avery took over. Okay, so we'll start with Aaron, Sienna, Aaliyah, Nethra, and Kelsey.
My name is Aaron Luo, and I am a student at Yorba Linda High School. A few weeks ago, during a classroom discussion, a classmate of mine shared something that really stuck with me. She had recently immigrated from China, and she said that it wasn't until she moved to Yorba Linda that she realized the sky was actually as blue as it was shown in the textbooks she read growing up. For her, that blue sky was something new, but for us, it's something we've always taken for granted, even as environmental conditions become more uncertain. We're already starting to see that in things like hotter days and more frequent wildfires. Environmental issues affect our daily lives. They shape the places we go to school, the air we breathe, and whether we can see the sky clearly when we look up. As students, we are directly affected, and we care about our future. The climate resolution is a simple way to show that our district cares too.
Hello, PYLUSD Board. It is an honor to stand in front of you today. My name is Samantha Hernandez, and I am a junior at Yorba Linda High School and a board member of the PYLUSD Student Climate Coalition. I am adding on to the comment about the importance of passing this climate resolution in our district. And living in Yorba Linda, we are the stewards of a unique presidential legacy. It was President Richard Nixon who established the EPA and the first Earth Day in 1970. And for those of you who don't know, the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, is meant to protect human health and the environment of enforcing regulations on air, water, and land pollution. He understood that protecting our environment wasn't a partisan issue, but it was a matter of national security and public health. By passing this resolution, PYLUSD would be continuing that tradition of environmental leadership and honoring his commitment to restoring peace with nature. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Neetha Rajkumar, and I am a student at Valencia High School and a member of this climate coalition. The goal of the PYLUSD Climate Coalition is to promote climate restoration, the goal of returning CO2 to levels where humans have historically thrived. This means advocating for the solutions that keep carbon out of the atmosphere for at least a century. We are pushing for goals that are not only scalable and environmentally sound, but also financially viable. By educating ourselves on these outcomes, we prepare our district to be at the forefront of new green economy. Thank you.
Hello, and good evening to the PYLSD Board. My name is Sienna Swice, and I am a senior at Yorba Linda High School and a board member of the PYLSD Climate Coalition. We are not the first to take this step. Districts like Napa Valley Unified have already authorized similar calls to climate action. Our schools have an essential role in engaging us in science-based learning. As someone who has spent countless hours talking to children about nature and wildlife at the Priceless Pets Rescue Ranch, I know how important our environment is to our community. In order for our youth to continue to be curious about our world, we must preserve and protect it from more destruction. Knowledge is power, and the best way to attack the climate crisis is to be as informed as possible on what causes it and how to fix it. Education is the first step to progress, which is why we are asking you to pass this resolution to prepare us for the future of work, the future of technology, and most importantly, a future that we can depend on. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elia Andronico, and I'm a junior at Esperanza High School and a board member of the PYL-USD Climate Coalition. We believe that preparing students for the future is a goal we all share, regardless of our individual backgrounds or perspectives. The changing climate is a practical reality that affects all sectors of society. This is not a matter of ideology, but a movement towards a common goal, the success of PYL-USD students. Ensuring we can navigate a changing world with scientific literacy is a common sense step that serves everyone within our district. We are excited to see PYL-USD lead the way in providing the essential future-ready education its students deserve. Thank you.
Okay, up next, I heard a Samantha in there, and I have a Kelsey. So I don't know. I'm just going to read the ones that are here. So Kelsey, Vishva, Jocelyn, Sam Mayevich, Abigail Kim.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Kelsey Bay, and I'm a senior at El Dorado High School. We believe humanity has an obligation to maintain a safe climate for the next generation. According to The Lancet, 85% of young people are at least moderately worried about the climate emergency. From our own district survey, nearly 80% of PYL-USD students rated their concern as a 3 or higher out of 5. This anxiety is real, and the best way to address it is through education. By including climate literacy in our schools, we can turn that concern into informed action and civic engagement. And passion can be enough, but with an academic environment where we have climate literacy, we can make those informed actions attainable. Thank you.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Vishwa Darji, and I'm a junior at Esperanza High School. One of the most important things that school can do is help us learn what we want to do after we graduate. Right now, there are so many new career paths opening up in California around clean energy, sustainability, and green technology. But as students, it's hard for us to know what these jobs actually look like in day-to-day life. This resolution talks about creating community partnerships and real-world learning. And that's what I'm most excited about. I don't just want to read about these things in a textbook. I want to get the chance to see these in person and to talk to professionals in our area who are actually solving these problems. These experiences help give us a head start and a professional network before we even leave PYL-USD. I'm asking you to support this resolution because it's a direct investment in our career success. Thank you.
Okay, I have Jocelyn, then Sam, and then Abigail.
Hello, my name is Jocelyn Williams. Waste, fraud, and abuse under Superintendent Chernus have had serious long-term consequences for our district. The amended lawsuit filed by Luann Craig, widow of longtime crisis counselor Tom Craig, identifies numerous labor and education code violations and the intentional infliction of emotional distress. On November 29, 2023, Dr. Gates placed Mr. Craig on administrative leave and accused him of serious misconduct. These charges were retracted on December 8, 2023, but Dr. Gates nevertheless told Mr. Craig he had been barred from working in the district in any capacity. Moreover, Superintendent Chernus warned principals not to contact Craig upon threat of termination. On January 23, 2024, a bogus third investigation occurred, again finding no wrongdoing. The district's harassment of Craig continued months later, again finding no wrongdoing. The district's harassment of Craig's continued months later were in October 2024. Dr. Gates raised bogus charges against Mr. Craig and illegally reassigned him to a position that did not match his training and expertise. We thank Mrs. Craig for holding the district accountable for its campaign of harassment against her deceased husband. No one should have experienced the treatment Tom Craig and many others received under the Chernus regime. Thank you.
My name is Sam Ivich. We should acknowledge the district's deterioration under trustees Blades, Frazier, and Youngblood, including the loss of long-serving educators such as Joey Davis. At a February political fundraiser, trustee Blades asked a district teacher known for his conservative views why he was not supporting her school board agenda. He reluctantly cited what he described as the district's horrible treatment of his friends Richard McElinden, Tom Craik, and Joey Davis. Blades then alleged that Mr. Davis was not on good terms with the Placentia Police Department, lacked the emotional strength to lead, and allowed boys into spaces designated for girls. None of this is true. Mr. Davis maintained outstanding relationships in the law enforcement community, including with retired Placentia Police Department Officer Rudy Madrigal, the widower of Amy Madrigal. Mrs. Madrigal was a beloved administrator who had been Mr. Davis's colleague and friend for 2 decades. She suddenly died on May 22, 2023. Mr. Davis had to bear his own grief while supporting the El Dorado High School community. The superintendent's office used Mr. Davis' public grief to fuel the narrative that he was, quote, too weak to lead, unquote, and later forced out those who supported Mr. Davis the most, including Rick Lopez, Richard McElinden, and Tom Craig. Trustees Blades, Frazier, and Youngblood are responsible for these losses.
Hello, my name is Abigail Kim, and I'm a student at Valencia High School. For over 800,000 years, atmospheric CO2 never exceeded 300 parts per million. However, we are now living through the hottest years on record. In 2023 and 2025, global temperatures nearly reached 1.5 degrees Celsius, threshold above pre-industrial levels. Research suggests that if we approach 2 degrees by 2045, we risk hitting a point of no return. Understanding these thresholds is not about fear or over-dramatization. It's about the scientific literacy required to navigate the coming decades. So we should come together as a community to address these issues and to help improve our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for everybody who took their time out tonight and came to speak at our meeting. And that was everybody. There was one duplicate, so only 20. And so before we move on, we have consent calendar coming up first, but since we have students here, is everybody okay if we pull the climate resolution up first and do that, the first on the list?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll start with that, and I'll start with a motion, please. It's for 21.1.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 25-30, Advancing Environmental Literacy and Sustainability.
Yeah, 21. .1, but the number is Resolution 2530. So I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. I'll pass it over to you, Dr. Kim, for comments.
Thank you. I want to start by thanking our students for being here. Part of the work that I've been able to do over the last 20 years has been to really think about the high school experience for our students. And one of the hopes and aspirations I have is that students own their own learning, that you learn agency and you learn voice and you learn to advocate for the things that you care about. And so I just want to thank you for being here and being a part of the process this evening. When the students submitted their initial proposal for a resolution, I think it was from very much a global lens, and they spoke this evening about things that they cared about that they had built in that. I want to thank them for supporting my creative license of being able to change it to something that when I look at a resolution, part of what my goal is to give you something to work from that is within your purview, that you have the opportunity to have control over or influence over. And so while the advocacy that our students had offered had very much a global view, my challenge was to try to create something that you could start from and then certainly have a conversation and determine where you wanted to go. But most importantly, that it was something that was doable within our environment and our local community. So what I will tell you is it is a draft that I put together based on what I and AI synthesized to consider what our students cared about and tried to put it into words that would be more of a local focus. So please know that I don't have ownership over the words that are in it. It is a draft for you to work from and for you to take and advocate for your own words and how you would like this to represent your voice in terms of advocacy, knowing what our students care about.
Thank you. I got the opportunity, I received an email, I'm sure others did, I heard later that others did, from Avery and the team, the Climate Coalition. And I met with them via Zoom, and they walked me through the reasons why they wanted to bring this resolution. And I was impressed by the knowledge, the work that went into it, the coordination, beyond what you all do. You reached out, and it was, as you mentioned, global, because it reached a lot of places. You did a lot of research, you worked with a lot of people, and you put a lot of hard work and thought into this. I was incredibly impressed and proud at what you shared and your drive and your interest and what motivates you. Thank you, Dr. Kim, for taking that. It was very encompassing, and a lot of that stuff, as you mentioned, was out of our purview. So being able to whittle that down a little bit and find something and create something that we can use, that they can use, I thought was, it made it so much better and more detailed around what PYL and actionable, about what we can do. So thank you so much for that. I'm really thrilled and I'm impressed, and thank you for being here tonight and sharing your thoughts with us. Somebody else?
Yeah, I too agree that I think it's important that students learn how things work in the real world. I think this is important, and the fact that you guys are putting this together and the things that you're researching and learning about, I think this is really, really important. I think this is a great club. I think this is an awesome thing for you guys to advocate for and to learn how to do this in a realm that relates to a real world. I, however, disagree that it should be a resolution at the board level. And this is one of my main reasons, is because we're looking at potentially opening up the door to any student group that has some sort of, I'll call it an ideology, because there were words like we have a moral obligation, informed action and civic engagement. Those words were used by the people speaking tonight. And if we start putting resolutions in place at the district level that are really student club led and ideologies that aren't necessarily broadly accepted across the district, I think we really start to have a problem there. So I don't think that this is a good idea. I'm going to vote no on it. I do, however, like the exercise, and I think this is really important for you guys as you get ready to move on into your next realm of what's adulthood really like. I think this is great, and you guys are doing a lot of great things to learn about this. I just don't think that there's a place for this at the district level to support from a resolution standpoint. I think we should support the students in learning this. I think that this is a great thing for them to talk about. Again, I just think it really leans into what's the next student group that's going to have a resolution they want district level that across the district people do not agree with all the way. People do, people don't. So that's where I stand.
I guess let's go down the line. I agree with Todd. I kind of felt the same way that this shouldn't be at the district level, but I do think that the school sites, if they want to implement like the recycling and things like that at the school level, then that's something that can be done. And if there's things that can be done around campus, but I do agree that we are opening up the door for all kinds of groups to come forward and doing resolutions and making some promises or to do things, and especially too with declining enrollment and all of, can we, do we have the funding to explore some of these programs that we don't know will work or not work? And so I agree with Todd. I'm going to vote no, but I do appreciate you guys coming, and I hope that around your campuses you guys can do the recycling programs and do the advocacy work that you guys came here and did. So really appreciate hearing from you guys tonight.
Okay, my turn. This is a resolution. This is not policy. And as Mr. Fraser likes to say, it's just a statement. And I really like how it says in the resolution, whereas California Education Code, SB 720, encourages school boards to support environmental literacy and incorporate concepts into standard curriculum. And I think that's all this is doing. It's integrating curriculum. It's giving professional development for our teachers to be able to teach said curriculum. It's encouraging student engagement, which we are seeing here tonight in full force. Also, community partnerships. I think several students tonight talked about wanting real hands-on learning, seeing that their passion can come into a career. And I think that's really the work we're doing as we try to reimagine high school. And sustainable practices, we're already doing that in our district. And we're just reaffirming it, making a statement that, yes, this is what we're doing. I'm really appreciative of the students and their passion and their drive. I met with them over Zoom, and I learned a lot. And it was almost overwhelming, the things that they taught me. So I think our students are amazing, and your passions are going to help our country and our world in the future. So thank you guys for coming and bringing this to our attention, and I will be voting yes.
Well, to jump on everybody else's sentiment as well, I am very proud and excited for the work you guys all did on this. I know is extensive, and the passion you bring to it is really inspiring. I'm in favor of the resolution because I think the way Dr. Kim has worded it, it does kind of go down to the district level. Speaking of unique opportunities to sustain opportunities for each school to have sustainable practices, leaving it up to the schools, as was said earlier, the curricula, the literacy, and especially the future career opportunities. I think that's a huge part of it because there are opportunities out there for careers now and in the future in climate and the things that go around it. And I know that's a area that we have not touched on as much as a district. And it's just almost as important just as AI and all those different careers as well. There's careers out there that we haven't even imagined yet. So I think this is a great opportunity to open that door up for our students and expose them to the different career opportunities and learning opportunities that they have as well. So I think it's a great way. I think it's not, as you would say, like an ideal or idealism. It's very, very precise. It talks about what we can do as a district with student engagement, community partnerships, sustainable practices, and curriculum integration, that I think it's something that we can, as a district, support and really get behind. I mean, again, keeping it just on a general level as it's written now, I really like. And not to say that the original one wasn't important and didn't have a lot of information, that did, but this really, like Dr. Kim says, goes down to what we can do today and we can start today. So I really appreciate that. So thank you.
I'd like to also just add that the 18-month check-in and reporting back to us, I think that's great. And just mentioning, if we're going to be spending money on anything, I think that this is something to track. And we might have a cost savings as a result of this. I remember when we did we hired we had a new position. It was the energy manager. And we did a lot throughout the district. And just the work that we did on that was enough to pay for that salary. So I think there's some creative ways to do it. This makes us think creatively. And I'm looking forward to what this is going to look like in 18 months. I hope you all listen as well of where this goes and what we do in 18 months.
I'd like to add something. I typically don't really comment on resolutions or things that are going on in the board, but I want to thank my peers for coming out. I mean, it's honestly amazing to see other students like me that are very interested in civics and civic engagement, and I want to say that this climate literacy resolution is extremely important. As a student who's grown up in Yorba Linda and Orange County over the past 18 years of my life, I've been outside almost every day. And I think that elementary students, middle school students, even high school students really take for granted how important our environment is. I remember growing up, I'd see a piece of trash, I'd pick it up because that's what I was taught. That is essentially climate literacy. And I think this is honestly a really important resolution that we should pass. So I would vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Simran. That's why we have you here, so that you can give a little bit of a student perspective too. Okay, with that, let's take a vote.
Just before we vote,
yes.
I just want to remind everybody, this is a potential opening the door. That's all I'm going to say.
We can always vote no, and so that gives us the opportunity to do that. But I think that listening and even having a conversation about what our students want, ultimately, if it ends up in a yes or a no, it always grounds us in the work that we do. So, thank you all. Ready for a vote? Okay. Everybody, all those in favor say aye.
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 And opposed?
No.
Okay, so that motion carries 3-2 with an aye from our student board member. And thank you for being here. If you'd like to go ahead and go, you're welcome to do that. We're going to keep moving on in our meeting. And that brings us now to our consent calendar. Wait, let me make sure I'm on the right page. Yes, okay, consent calendar. These actions proposed for the consent calendar are consistent with approved practices for the district and are deemed routine in nature. The trustees received board agenda backup information in advance of scheduled meetings and are prepared to vote with the knowledge in the block vote items. Does anybody have anything they want to pull?
Yes, I like to pull 16.6.
Anyone else? I'd like to pull 17.4. And seeing none others, motion for the balance.
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Frazier, second by Mrs. Blades. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, 5-0 and an aye from Simran. Okay, Mrs. Anderson, 16.6.
16.6. I'd like to make a motion to approve the architectural services agreement for the architectural design services, including fencing and playground for the California Republic Leadership Academy, CRLA West Campus Charter School project located at Esperanza High School with Studio Plus Architect Corp. Project number 22547.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Go ahead with any of your comments.
Okay. This is the first step in this process, and it's $35,000. What do we anticipate the full cost to ready the school for CRLA?
Thank you. I'm going to hand it to Dr. Papalardo, given that he and his team have been most instrumental in working with legal counsel, but our contracting back and forth with CRLA regarding the process.
Okay, thank you.
So the current budget for preparing West Campus for CRLA and moving all of our programs, sorry, Esperanza programs that are on West Campus onto the main school site currently is $1.3 million.
Do we know what the cost was for to prepare the campus for Magnolia?
Yes, Magnolia was all portables. They were, we all know where they are, and the fencing, some plumbing, electric, flooring. The total cost was $134,390.
Okay, I brought this up because California law is unique. So when a charter wants to come into the district and they could show that they have 80 students, then we have to give them facilities. We don't have an option, and we have to provide even furnishings like desks and things like that. So it has to be comparable to what we have. But as you can see, this is a lot of our dollars that we could use for education or to fix up our own facilities for us that we have to do for the charter schools coming in. So I pulled this to bring awareness to the fact, and if you don't like this law or you think it's unfair, then you should talk to your legislator. You should contact the Orange County Board of Education and let them know, because they are the ones that approve these charters, and let them be in our district. So all I'm doing is showing how the law is set up, how much this is really costing, and taking our $88 to support these students. And we are, we'll get to the contract later. They do pay, but it's pretty minimal reimbursement to us. It doesn't cover it. In fact, we have to do the maintenance and the custodial and you name it. It's our responsibility. So I just pulled it to show awareness, but this is the law and this is how it stands right now.
Thank you, Marilyn, for bringing that up and pointing that out. Anybody else? Okay, with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, and that motion carries 5-0 and a +1 from our student board member. Okay, I'll make a motion for 17.4 that we approve the sports history elective course to be added to the current offerings at El Dorado High School for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I bring this up because we have all of the plan for the first semester and the second semester with detail on what the students are going to be learning in our board agenda. And what I noticed is that there is very little on women's sports or girls' sports. There is one mention of tennis with Serena Williams. There's a lot of baseball, not softball. There's a lot that's missing. And I think that we should be more equitable when we're looking at building out history electives. There's even a section on unique sports. And there would be an appropriate place that we could put in a chapter or a unit on women's sports, but I honestly feel like the women's short sports could be integrated throughout the whole curriculum. I would really like to see that further developed. I'm still going to approve this because I think it's a good course, and there are going to be a lot of students that want to take this course, but we have to do more to embed women's sports and girls' sports in this elective. Anybody else?
Great suggestion.
Thank you. And with that, we can take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And motion carries 5-0 and a +1 from Simran. Okay, now we are at presentations, and Dr. Kim, I'll turn it over to you, and we'll start with special education annual performance review.
Thank you. I want to start by thanking Ms. Renee Gray and her team for putting together a very thoughtful presentation. I understand that this is an annual process in California, but I got a firsthand look at how this team has approached this work and their ability to really dig in and ensure that they are representing the depth of knowledge that we think would be helpful for you all to know about the work that so many of our educators around the district are doing on behalf of exceptional students. So thank you, team, and thank you for the hard work that you put into this to make sure that it truly reflects the essence of the work being done.
Okay, thank you. Tonight we're proud to present our what's called the Annual Performance Review for Special Education, better known as the APR. This report reflects our progress on state indicators that you'll hear about tonight, but more importantly, it tells the story of the students we serve and the impact of our practices and our ongoing commitment to improving outcomes across our system. So tonight, while you'll see evidence of meaningful growth, you'll also see where we are intentionally focusing our efforts, particularly in expanding inclusive practices and ensuring equitable access for all of our students. So at its core, this work is about building a system that responds to students' needs, maximizes opportunities, and continuously improves. So without further ado, I'd like our Special Education Director, Jamie Nash, to go over the details with you.
Good evening, President Buck, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Kim LeBlanc Esparza, and Executive Cabinet. Tonight we will be sharing an overview of our state annual performance review for special education, and more importantly, what this means for our students, our system, and our responsibility to continuously improve outcomes. This evening, we will walk you through who our students are, an overview of the annual performance review, key highlights and areas of growth, and finally, our next steps as a system of support. To begin, it's important to understand the students we serve. Across the district, approximately 13.8%, or 1 in 7 students receive special education services. Within that population, nearly 90% of students fall within 4 primary disability categories. Speech and language impairment at 25.9%, autism at 25.4%, specific learning disability at 21.5%, and other health impairment at 18.4%. The yellow section represents the remaining 8.8%, which includes other disability categories such as intellectual disability, visual impairment, and emotional disability. This level of clarity about who we serve enables us to effectively align resources, staffing, and funding to reach all students and meet measurable outcomes. Nearly 9 out of 10 students we serve have mild to moderate support needs. These students typically do not have significant cognitive delays and can access grade level content with the right supports in general education. Approximately 11% of our students have extensive support needs. And at the end of the school year, we will be returning to the board to present how we serve this population of students by highlighting a 5-year research partnership with Cal State Fullerton that has resulted in measurable gains in communication and literacy, as well as challenged long-held assumptions about what is possible for students with the most complex needs. Special education, at its core, is not defined by where instruction happens, but by how we ensure access, learning, and meaningful progress within the broader educational experience. Special education is not a place, it is a service. And what we know is that students not only perform better when they have access to general education settings, but they have a fundamental right to learn alongside their typically developing peers and fully participate in the same rigorous curriculum with the appropriate supports, which is the intent of the federal law that guides special education, which is IDEA. This means our work is not about moving students to a separate setting, but about bringing the right supports, strategies, and expertise to them when it is appropriate. At the center of special education is a system of support that travels with the student. It adapts to their needs and reinforces the belief that all students belong in general education first. So how is this progress measured? The annual performance review under the California Department of education evaluates districts in both compliance and student outcomes. Indicators fall within two categories: compliance, which is 100% adherence to timelines and legal requirements, and then there's performance indicators, measuring outcomes such as student achievement, graduation rates, least restrictive environment, and equity through disproportionality. Each year, the state's expectation increases, which is a part of a growth model that focuses on continuous improvement. In our district, we've made strong progress. We've increased from 7 indicators in 22-23 to 12 indicators met for the 24-25 school year, out of a total of 17. That progress directly impacts where we are at the state monitoring level. And our growth has led to a targeted status, where we hold the responsibility of our own improvement efforts rather than the state. We can use our own data to drive and address and adjust our work intentionally. And why does this matter? The APR is a data-driven process for continuous improvement. It aligns with the California dashboard and LCAP priorities, and it is also directly tied to funding. So when districts do not meet certain state targets, especially in areas such as disproportionality, they must set aside certain funds and implement a rigorous state monitoring implementation, and that limits our local flexibility. So strong performance not only improves outcomes, it preserves a district's ability to use resources strategically and independently design programs that meet the needs of learners without increased state oversight. So in examining our district's special education performance, it is important to see the full picture. So this slide provides a comprehensive overview of the Special Education Annual Performance Review, or the APR, which evaluates all districts in California across 31 measures that are grouped into 17 different categories. On the left, you'll see that each of the categories we are measured on annually. The green and red marks reflects our current status, and as shown, we've met 12 out of the 17 areas for the 24-25 school year. There are several areas of strength worth highlighting. In ELA, our students with IEPs have continued to improve year over year. This progress has allowed us to meet the state target this year and can be directly attributed to the intentional implementation of explicit, systematic, and targeted reading interventions such as Sonde and Spire. These structured literacy programs are designed to support struggling readers, particularly students with dyslexia or reading struggles. While we are encouraged by this progress, we also recognize that an achievement gap persists. Closing this gap remains an urgent priority, requiring sustained targeted action to ensure equitable outcomes for all students. In preschool assessment, the state measures children's outcomes by using the Desired Results Developmental Profile, which is the DRDP. And within this framework, we specifically look at areas such as social emotional development and including children's ability to demonstrate appropriate behaviors. We've seen in this area, we've seen a substantial increase. We've gone from 65.2% to 93.33%, highlighting the impact of strong early intervention, intentional instruction, and inclusive preschool practices. Parent involvement is another highlight at 99.83%, reflecting strong and consistent partnerships with families for students on IEPs. Additionally, our post-secondary outcomes data shows that continuous growth in students accessing education and employment opportunities. In fact, we currently have a total of 341 students that are being served and 26 subsidized job placements, which is actually the most to date. Of the few areas that remain unmet, as displayed by the red X's in the chart to the left, only 5 targets are outstanding, and 4 of those 5 targets are directly tied to inclusion, as measured by the state through the least restrictive environment. This underscores the importance of continuing to strengthen inclusive practices across our district. While we've made progress in the majority of areas, we recognize there is still a lot of work to do. The concentration of unmet targets connected to LRE reinforces a key message: the where and how we serve students matters. Our district provides a wide range of services and service delivery models, from push-in supports, pull-out supports, to self-contained classrooms designated to support students with the most complex needs. What we know is that access to general education, to the maximum extent appropriate, leads to better outcomes for students with disabilities. This is the foundation of least restrictive environment, or LRE. Currently, our LRE is 55.62% district-wide, while the state target is at 70%. So meaning 70% of students with disabilities should be in general education for at least 80% or more of their school day. Although special education is not a service, is a service, not a place, there are times when students benefit from more specialized settings with increased structures, intensive supports, and reduced sensory demands. The state recognizes that this is an essential part of meeting diverse needs of students, which points to their allowance for allowing students who require more time in specialized settings. Our work is grounded in a continuum of opportunity available to our students in special education, ensuring that how we serve students expands their access to general education across all levels of our system. This highlights school sites that are improving access for students. At the preschool level, we build a strong foundation. Our LRE has increased to 35%, and at this pace, we will be on track to meet our state target of 47%. This work was recognized with a Golden Bell Award, highlighting the strength of this early learning model, while we are also expanding these practices into TK and kindergarten. At the elementary level, sites like Ruby Drive, they have piloted and implemented integrated practices with 68% of students with IEPs learning alongside their general education peers, approaching the state target of 70%, though the implementation is not consistent across all of our school sites. At the middle school level, Kramer Middle School stands out for its focus on push-in supports, small group instruction, and collaborative co-teaching sections, resulting in an LRE rate of 67%. And at the high school level, Yorba Linda High School has an LRE rate of 65% and a graduation rate of 84.4%, which exceeds our district average of 79.3% for students with disabilities. While this reflects important progress, these practices, again, are not consistent across all of our sites. So scaling this work district-wide really remains a focus moving forward. And lastly, at our post-secondary level, our outcomes show that 90.28% of students are continuing in education and employment after high school through critical agency links such as North Orange County Regional Occupational Program, or NORCROP. This reflects the strength of our transition supports and our commitment to preparing students for success beyond graduation. When we look closely at the preschool indicators of the APR, Indicator 6 and 7, the data from our preschool program tells a powerful story about access, inclusion, and success. Starting with the graph to the left, Indicator 6 measures the percentage of preschool children on IEPs that are in general education settings. You can see a dramatic shift. After a dip in 23-24, our intentional move towards inclusive models led to a significant increase, rising just from 8.5% to over 35% in a single year. This reflects our commitment to the least restrictive environment and ensuring our youngest learners have access to high-quality instruction alongside their general education peers. Equally important is Indicator 7 of the APR, which measures growth in positive social skills and behaviors. After years of steady performance, we saw a nearly 30% growth in 24-25 on the preschool DRDP, reaching 93.33% success rate and officially meeting the state's target. This is more than progress. It represents a shift in practice. While our co-taught preschool model has been a key driver, it's important to recognize that inclusion is not defined by one model alone. Co-teaching is just one approach. We also have expanded other service delivery models, such as push-in specialized supports and services, ensuring that students receive what they need within the general education setting whenever appropriate. This allows us to be both instructionally effective and fiscally responsible. Our inclusive preschool model is the engine of sustainability, moving students from self-contained special day classes to inclusive settings. So where do we go from here? As our district is in the process of developing the strategic plan, these priorities position us well for this transition. They provide the foundation for the direction we are building together across special education and the broader system. So first is coherence and alignment. breaking down silos so special education operates as one integrated system of support. Second, inclusive practices and improved student outcomes, ensuring that every student has access to the least restrictive environment with strong core instruction, high expectations, and a true continuum of opportunities. And what we're seeing is powerful. When we are intentionally designing for inclusion, more students can be served in general education settings. This shift is not only better for students, but it is more sustainable. Third is operational excellence, when we align efficiency with instruction. By streamlining systems, we maximize time for student support and ensure that every dollar is directed towards high-impact instruction. Special education is historically an underfunded mandate at both the state and national level, so the district must locally contribute to cover operating costs. In our district, that contribution is $2,143 per ADA, which is one of the lowest among unified districts in Orange County. Even so, we are still responsible for delivering all services that are required. While we operate with one of the lower cost local contributions, it does not lessen our responsibility. It reinforces the importance of intentionally designing an integrated system of support that reflects the needs of the students we serve. And finally, professional capacity. So building the knowledge, skills, and collective ownership of our staff so that this work is not dependent on individuals and it's sustained across our system. These priorities will set us up well as we move seamlessly into our strategic planning work. We will continue to align our systems, consistently expand inclusive practices, and ensure that every decision reflects both what is best for students and what is sustainable for the future of the district. So in closing, this presentation reflects both where we are and where we are going, and ultimately this work is more than compliance or performance metrics. It is ultimately ensuring that every decision we make strengthens opportunity, access, and outcomes for students across the district. So at the center of it all is our commitment to supporting every student every day. Thank you, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
When looking at the continuum of opportunities, do we have any schools that are meeting the state standard at the 70% for least restricted environment?
We currently don't, and we're not alone. All schools in Orange County range from about 50 to 65% that are unified, that are comparable to us. So it's definitely a target to meet, and it's a
high target.
Yeah, it is, but I'm really confident in our strategic work and that we'll continue to figure out how to get closer.
That was my question. How many schools in the state do meet that standard?
I can look across the state and get you that. I just know when I always look for an Orange County to really compare us to comparable, and we're about 5th in Orange County, so.
Okay.
And there's one district, it's our neighboring district, that has met it. I don't know of any other that has met the 70.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's a high bar.
It's a moving target. So when I first started, we were at 41. We're now at 70. It moves about 5 to 6% every year.
It's like No Child Left Behind.
Yeah.
Like the increasing.
What if they get to 106%? What do we do then?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
We have a celebration.
We have a celebration. It's impossible.
What is the other district locally that's doing?
Orange Unified.
Okay, interesting. And do we talk to them about best practices? How often do you get together and talk to other districts
all the time.
specifically
I
about
talk to
that?
her every morning, probably. About so many things, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we get together and our people get together and, collaborate. Yeah, they've met a lot of targets, too. Yeah, they're doing better.
Question is just the financial. I know you said it was about $2,100 out of this ADA that's spent on special ed services. Is that something that's determined by us, or is it by? How can we fix that?
Typically, it's by need. I think one of the most important things that folks have to understand about serving the needs of our exceptional students is that when a student has an IEP that has defined what their needs are in order to access learning, we have an obligation or responsibility to provide it. And there are students who their needs can be met by the per pupil funding. And then again, there are students that it costs six figures to educate them. And school districts have a responsibility to meet both students' needs. And so, having served in multiple states around the country, I will tell you that every state grapples with the fact that we have a responsibility to meet the needs of all of our students' needs, and very few, if any, states have provisions that allow for what we would call a high-cost disability student, or a student who is a six-figure cost, that in order to meet their needs, that cost is very real, whether it's the number of people, specialized programming, et cetera. Certainly, I would tell you that, we have to be mindful of it, but we don't have an ability to say no either, because we have a responsibility for all our kids. So there is that challenge within the process.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely we would not say no. But I was just wondering, so the 2,100 is the average of what is needed to service each child?
It depends on the cost in the district, and also.
So that's why it's different in each district?
Yes,
That's what I was
and
wondering.
cost could
Okay.
change. And here's the thing. The promise was about 40 to fund special education federally, 40%. The state of California gets an average of 26% from the federal government, and 8% from the federal government, and 26% from the state. And so when you look at that's what we're bringing in, local contribution grows and grows and grows, because that number, those two numbers I just told you, tend to go down. So the expectations rise, inversely correlated with the amount of funding, and therefore local contribution. I could send you a graph later, has gone up like that over the last 10 years.
Okay, just checking. I was just wondering why that number was what it was. All right, thank you.
One more question. Do you see any, or do you have any, I don't want to put you on the spot, but like barriers for integration? Like, what are some of the barriers in our district to reach that integration? Is it like more support people, or?
Yeah, I think it's really with that professional capacity. So really looking at building that system wide so that all site leaders, all educators, so special education and general education, and support staff really feel confident. So that takes that professional development and that ongoing support from specialists, and even just in disability awareness. So really having the tools and strategies and that ongoing support. We have amazing specialists in the district, and looking at that meaningful collaboration. And then I also think it really takes, leadership to have this as a focus. So, and we're ongoing monitoring the progress too, and what things are working.
So can I add to that?
Yeah.
I have pretty strong feelings in this space, so I just want to, I want to contribute to this conversation. And I know I'm having to hold my friend here back because she has very strong feelings about this as well. I will say in one hand, in order for students to grow and to learn at the maximum capability, they have to have access to best first instruction, and that comes from our professionals in classrooms each and every day. Our classroom teachers are the experts that are best posed to give every student an opportunity to succeed in that space. We also have specialists that have expertise at understanding the exceptional needs of some of our students that can come alongside and help them meet the needs of our kids. Now, that said, we also have to acknowledge the very real reality that when a classroom teacher is serving 35 students in their classroom and 5, 6, 7 of them have exceptional needs, we can't wave a magic wand and say they can just do it. They have to have supports in order to do that and do it well and meet all of those students' needs. So part of the challenge that we have to partner with our associations and our teachers is really have honest dialogue around what do our teachers need to support their ability to do their best work and allow for all students to have that best first instruction from a classroom teacher. And it's not magic, but it's a lot of hard work, but it's also an acknowledgement of we can't just say make it happen. We have to work side by side in order to make it happen.
I agree wholeheartedly. I would add one thing, which I'm sure we've talked several times about this. Behavior is a challenge. And it's not just a challenge in special education, it's a challenge in general education. And I concur that our teachers are working so hard every single day to address the new behaviors that they see every single day. And so it is our responsibility to work on how we help them, how we provide supports, what those supports look like, how we train, how we bring them along to ask them, what do you need in order to serve the ever-evolving student that you get every single day, you know? It's a lot of work, and it has to be done together. And I know there's going to be a lot of really fun work in the future that I won't be a part of, but I know it's going to be great.
I was just going to say, are you sure you want to retire? Lots of fun stuff. You can come back anytime.
I am a huge advocate for inclusion, and I challenge us to become the top. I don't want to settle for being fifth. I think we can get there. I also challenge us to think about, as we are doing this and rolling into the next school year and planning for training coming up, we mentioned that we have really great staff. Is there a workshop, something that we can do, professional development, utilizing our staff that can help support on the front end and teach maybe some behavior, how to control smaller behaviors so that the front lines can take care of those smaller ones, and then it can be escalated up. I'm also curious as to the BHIY, I forget the acronym, CYP. Yeah. Is that bringing us any additional support that we can use in this situation?
Yeah, so in terms of billing, we're starting to bill, and I'll let maybe if Baldwin wants to talk more specifically about it. We're starting to bill, we're working with leader services. Do you want to say when we're billing? And you know more than I do about it, but yes, we expect to get more from it, and he can speak in more detail about it.
Yeah, so where we're at right now is that we're actually embedded right now in training with leader services for the billing program. So our counselors, wellness specialists, and elementary counselors are already getting trained in how to electronically record the information. We have, if you remember, Villages as well too is going to be billing on our behalf as well too, so we can sustain. So we're right on the cusp of starting our billing cycle right now. So we're hoping to see what we're able to garner from that, because as you had mentioned, we're looking at those funds to be able to help put that money in reimbursements back into kids and services.
So reimbursement is one, but Villages these are licensed professionals that are coming in, so they can help with targeted behavior. So we have people who actually have more experience coming in with, state licensure that can do this. So yes, we're kind of doing this wraparound approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Having worked with Villages, it is a big support, and it will help the teachers a lot. I know, especially when you have those certain circumstances with behaviors in your class, and I agree with the support needed with the classroom teacher being a general ed teacher. It's a change, and it's a big adjustment, and obviously it's much needed, and it's much appreciated when we can get that help. So I know as many professional developments as can be done, as many supports as, like you said, checking in, like, what do you need? I think that's a huge question to ask all the teachers with this. So I think it's a great start and a great future ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I was just going to say,
Marilyn has one.
As much as I would like green checks on everything, I want us to make sure we're doing this right. I don't want to overwhelm teachers, and I want to and so I really appreciate you sharing the barriers and about best first impression and leadership focused professional development, ongoing supports, and additional helps with these behaviors, so that we I rather do it right than have a class fall apart, because we know without the right supports that nobody in that class is learning, and I just want to and I'm grateful that we are going slow and moving forward, and we'll get to orange. Yeah, so we'll get there, but I appreciate the thoughtful approach to this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, now we are at our action items, general functions, 22.1. If I'll start with a motion first, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt revised board policy 6171.5, individual education programs, second reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Before I turn it over to Dr. Gray, will eventually answer this. Dr. Kim, would you like to, Mrs. Gray, would you like to weigh in?
Thank you. No, this has not changed since your last meeting. It is a second reading, but Renee's team is here to answer any questions that may have come up between last meeting and this one so that you can move this forward.
Anybody have any comments?
The only change I noticed was that we added the Placentia-Yorba, which is very minor, so I'm good with this.
Okay, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. And that is a 5-0 and an aye from our student board member. And we're at 22.2. Motion first, please.
I'll make a motion to revise board policy 5114.2, suspension and expulsion due process, first reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Kim, I'll pass it to you as well.
So in this case, we currently have some very outdated policies on the books, one for suspension, one for expulsion, and one for due process. In order to better align that into one streamlined process that is aligned to Ed Code, the proposal that Ms. Gray's team has put together is what you see here in terms of your first reading for policy 5114.2. And if you have questions, certainly her team can answer because they were very instrumental in developing this.
And then just real quickly, that the current requirements that you're going to hear from Mrs. Gordillo in a minute, under California Ed Code, include guidance on suspension and expulsion, and then alternative means of correction. You're going to hear more about that, and then due process protections. And she's going to give you some clarity, and all of these combined into one, hopefully, will reduce redundancy and reinforce consistent, equitable discipline practices across the district. So, without further ado, Tanya Gordillo.
Well, good evening, President Buck, Board of Trustees, Superintendent LeBlanc Esparza, and members, Executive Cabinet, and members of the community. This evening, I'm bringing forward a revised Board Policy 5114.2 related to student discipline. This proposed policy combines and replaces Board Policies 5114, 5114.2, and 5114.3, which previously addressed suspension, expulsion, and due process as separate topics. The revised policy brings these areas together into a single, comprehensive document to improve clarity, consistency, and ease of implementation across our school sites. It has been updated to align with current California education codes and state guidance while continuing to preserve the board's authority and oversight in disciplinary matters. Some notable changes in the revised board policy are a more student-centered, safety-focused framework. So the policy reframes discipline to emphasize prevention, early intervention, and progressive discipline practices, while recognizing that suspension and expulsion may be necessary in limited circumstances to protect the safety of students and staff. It also provides clear guidance on when suspension and expulsion may be used. Suspension and expulsion are reinforced as measures generally used when other means of corrections have not been successful, except where required by law or when immediate safety concerns exist. The policy also reinforces statutory limitations, including restrictions related to attendance-based discipline and willful defiance. The new policy also clarifies expulsion authority and criteria. The policy clarifies that only the board has the authority to expel a student, identifies mandatory expulsion offenses required by law, and establishes consistent criteria for discretionary expulsion decisions, promoting transparency, consistency, and fairness. It also consolidates due process requirements. We saw before it was all three. So all due process provisions are streamlined to a single section, clearly outlining notice requirements, hearings, appeals, and procedural protections to ensure a consistent and legally compliant application across the district. There's also a new focus on rehabilitation. With the policy strengthens the expectation for student rehabilitation following expulsion. The new policy also emphasizes the ongoing review of discipline data to support equity and informed decision-making. This process promotes continuous improvement in alignment with the district's school climate goals. Thank you. If you have any questions about the new policy.
I do. As I was reading this, I kept, and it's long because we're crossing out a lot of things, but can we add headings like this is the suspension area, this is the expulsion area, this is the due process, and bold them?
Okay.
Because I was getting kind of lost going back and forth. I think that would help make it easier to read. And then the other thing that stood out to me, well, there's a couple things, but the other thing is it talks about how expulsions are done in open session at board meetings. Does that include stipulated expulsions?
I will check on that. I believe it does include stipulated expulsions, but I will
So
double
all
check.
the votes are supposed to happen in open session and not in closed, but the discussion happens in closed?
Yes.
Okay.
But I will double check on the stipulated just to ensure that
Okay.
I am correct.
Just wanted to verify that. And then also on page 5, bullet number 5, it talks about the disposition of students after the expulsion period, including the completion of the rehabilitation plan and successful readmissions of students or both. Is that data going to be given to the board like annually? Because we've kind of, this has come up in closed session before, like how do we know if a student's come back? And so this is kind of new because we haven't had this information. So would this be coming annually?
We don't usually, I don't recall ever
getting it, but
knowing that they're coming back. We just know that this is in there, and if they satisfy all of those, then it allows them to do that.
This is all new. The rehabilitation being placed in here is new, with also that students, we start bringing students back 40 days before to meet with like our team to discuss where they're at in the process. Have they finished the rehabilitation? What additional supports do they need to complete? What's required to come back? So the changes really in Ed Code is that we start now looking at it 40 days as opposed to, okay, you're done, now you're going back. So that is new to Ed Code this year.
I think also one of the issues is sometimes we see with students that are expelled, the recidivism rate is very high. You'll see repeated behaviors, and I think one of the reasons that this is highlighted is that your point is well taken, that we should come back and give some data, some follow-up data, like what kinds of things are we doing to wrap around that student so that their re-entry is successful and they don't repeat those same offenses. So, depending on what you direct us to do, if you would like to see that, annually or, semi-annually, we'd be happy to do that.
Yeah.
So, in my past in both districts I've served in before, I began after 6 months to a year in to implement a monitoring report system. I'm working on, as many as you all know, because I've had conversations with you about my interest in building a dashboard system so that we can monitor some of that kind of data. Everything from the student experience data to climate and culture data to safety data to, frankly, budgeting data to student achievement data. And to create a cadence where you have a predictable calendar throughout the year of when you're going to receive those annual reports that we make as a part of board presentations and as a part of you receiving information from us. That is one of those reports that typically is a part of that process. So I would like it to be part of, beginning in the 26-27 school year, an annual cadence of providing that information to you as a part of our strategic planning process around building a data culture and making sure that you have that information.
I would be interested in the number of students that are expelled that don't come back. So looking at that number on the back end, how long does it take them to come back? Are they meeting all of those goals? And then are they just choosing not to come back to school? That would be really concerning.
I
we have to be careful with numbers that are as small as those. We're very fortunate that we don't have a very high number of students who are expelled. So in looking at that data, typically, that's not a data point that you're going to see in a presentation or a slide if it's less than typically 8 students, because otherwise there are identifiable factors that are not fair and it violates FERPA. And so while we can give you data on discipline and like how many students do we experience a suspension or an expulsion in school and out of school and all the things, there are some aspects to that are going to have to be discussion items in a different forum and construct, because we're not going to violate FERPA in that process.
You could do it against total population, but you could do it against expulsion population.
Yes, depending on what those numbers look like.
I don't
Yeah.
even.
In
how many we have
percentages,
this
not.
year. I don't even remember any this year. I mean, it's
Yeah, right,
gotten less and
right.
less and
I
less.
think there was
We had one.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it may not even be a data point that really matters until it does.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I would just like that information, and if we have to add something about that this would be given to the board annually, we could add something to that language into the policy.
We can add that into the last paragraph where it talks about providing data to the board.
Uh-huh.
If we want to add annually, I can work that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Candace, you seem like you wanted to say something.
Say it.
Thank you. Kim actually addressed it. I think the biggest concern is the FERPA violation. You have a high potential in a small community with identifiable students and everybody knowing what's happening. It really isolating a student and making it impossible for them to return. And so it's a concern as we think about how we communicate that as a team.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Gordia. Okay, so with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 and an aye from Simran. Okay, 22.3. This one's exciting.
There are many of us up here who are excited about this one.
Let's start with the motion in a second.
I would say, yeah.
I could do it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, you've been trying to get animals into this district forever.
I've been trying to breed animals. I've been trying to do all kinds of things.
This is the breeding and resolution, right?
Yes. All right. So I'll make a motion to revise board policy 6163.2, animals at schools, first reading.
Second.
Okay, Dr. Kim.
See, we're so excited we didn't even get to the motion before we all started talking about it. Certainly, since I got here, folks have talked about the fact that there's been an interest both by our law enforcement partners and even some of our mental health providers that to utilize therapy dogs as a part of providing support to students. There's so much research around this, so I'm really excited about starting to figure out how that can be a part of the student experience in PYL. I'm going to hand it over to Baldwin to talk a little bit about what are the specifics within the policy.
Well, I'm going to say, yeah, that's okay. But Baldwin's ready too. We're ready because we're so excited about this one. We are really excited about this one too, mainly because our old policy talked a lot about only having service animals, so it prohibited the use of therapy animals, and we've been talking about how we can kind of expand this and creating opportunities to partner with qualified organizations. And I'm turning around and looking over at our Placentia PD partners, specifically Officer Alan Cleveland, because we've been really trying to work hard on coming up with a program with Placentia PD that we think no pressure, but if this passes, this will be really good for our students as we collaborate. So Baldwin, I know, is excited to go over this board policy and go into it with more detail.
Yes, I even picked out the dog for Officer Cleveland already too. If he decides to show you someday. So good evening, Board President Buck, Dr. Kim, Board Trustees, and Executive Cabinet. Tonight we're bringing forward a first reading for the revised board policy with 6163.2, animals at school. So this update is about expanding our ability to support students both instructionally and through their overall well-being. First, the policy continues to affirm that animals can serve as valuable instructional tools. Whether in classroom lessons, assemblies, or hands-on learning experiences, animals can enhance engagement, build responsibility, and support education. Secondly, the policy strengthens and clarifies our commitment to access for individuals with disabilities. It aligns with federal law under the Americans with Disabilities Act by clearly defining service animals as trained working animals that provide direct support related to a person's disability. This ensures we are both compliant and supportive of equitable access to education. The most significant enhancement in this update is the addition of a new section on district-approved therapy animal programs. This creates a structured, safe, and clearly defined pathway for the use of certified therapy animals, not as pets or informal supports, but as part of intentional programs tied to instruction, counseling, wellness, and crisis response. This is an important shift. It allows us to integrate therapy animals into mental health and wellness initiatives, support student engagement and emotional regulation, provide short-term crisis response support when school communities experience significant events. At the same time, the policy maintains clear boundaries. Therapy animals are not service animals. Emotional support animals are not permitted outside of approved programs, and all use requires certification, trained handlers, supervision, and administrative approval. I checked with Elaine on that one too, just to make sure. Finally, this update allows us to partner with reputable organizations that specialize in trained therapy animals, ensuring programs are implemented with fidelity, safety, and professionalism. In short, this policy revision reflects a balanced approach, one that protects safety and compliance while expanding our ability to support the whole child academically, socially, and emotionally. Okay. Any questions?
When do we start?
As a parent of a therapy dog handler, I will tell you that the power of this in a school cannot be underestimated. So thank you for your support.
I've seen this firsthand at a shelter with a little child that was under the age of 3, hadn't spoken in weeks since she had come to the shelter. The therapy dogs came on the weekend. She went out with her family and immediately started talking to the dog. It was amazing. There was not a dry eye in the place. It will forever be burned into my memory. It was shocking how much that dog pulled her out of that. So I am super thrilled that we're going to be doing this. Okay, so let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Yay. Aye. All those in favor? That is a 5-0 and a +1 from Simran. Bark. There you go. Meow. No. Okay, so now moving on to 23.1. Can I have a motion first?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Proposition 39 Facilities Use Agreement by and between Placentia-Yorba Unified School District and the California Republic Leadership Academy.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Before I turn it over to Dr. Papalardo, Dr. Kim, do you want to introduce? Nope. Okay, Dr. Papalardo, you're on.
Okay, before us is an agreement with CRLA, a charter school that we have negotiated, and we are, as we talked about a little bit earlier, thank you, Board Member Anderson, for bringing that up. There's a lot about the last 25 years of charter school law in California. It's an interesting read, but we have provided the space. They're agreeing with it. The space will cost, CRLA will pay us $25,177 per month, so just about $300,000 a year for the space that they will be using, and this is a 1-year agreement, and so they will have to come back and request the space again in November, and we take a look at what the enrollment is and how they're doing and the space, and then we go through this again next year. And we opted for a 1-year agreement so that we could review it after August, September, about 3 or 4 months. So we're recommending approval of this agreement.
How many students do they have enrolled now that they're planning on, and how many are PYL students? If you can remember that off the top of your head.
I'm going to say that they were in the 110 or so of over 80 of district students, or they were over the minimum requirement. We believe that they will have, a number 150 to 200 students is our expectation.
So they give us their estimate. We vet that in some way. They meet that maximum or that number. We provide it, and then the next year we go back to ensure that those numbers were accurate.
Yes.
And in talking with our legal counsel with Suki, they are somewhere between that 100 and 125 students in terms of expectation, but over 80 of them easily could be verifiable that were PYL students. We only have an obligation to provide for the PYL students. However, we do know that they are serving more students than just students within our district.
Any other questions? I don't know if they can have animals. That might be their own charter thing.
We got a leg up on them.
That's true. Come over to our district and, yeah.
Yes. Take
Okay,
that.
with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries 5-0. And a +1.
Hey, Carrie, I have a question. Since this is all curriculum and instruction, can we block it? Do the whole block, 24? Just vote on the whole thing as a block, all the curriculum?
I think, yeah, we can do that as long as we have Dr. Perez go through and talk about them all at the same time? Or would you prefer us to do it separate?
I am actually going to hand this over to my team.
Oh, so, okay,
Yes.
so we'll let you
And I
introduce
can
one.
yes.
Okay, so 24.1, 24.2, and 24.3.
Yes, let's block it.
Okay. You
All
wanna make
right, I make a motion for 24.1, 24.2, and 24.3.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Dr. Perez, would you like to officially pass it along?
Yes, thank you. But we have Michael Young here, our Director of Secondary Schools, is going to be presenting information on all of the items in curriculum instruction.
Thank you, Dr. Perez. Can we switch to the camera? There we go. All right, good evening, President Buck, board members, Superintendent Dr. Kim, and Executive Cabinet. Tonight, I am proud to bring forward a recommendation for the adoption of our new Algebra, Geometry, and Algebra 2 core curriculum, California Reveal by McGraw-Hill. This recommendation is a result of a year-long, transparent, and highly collaborative process grounded in student outcomes and district priorities. Can I control from here? Oh, okay. Our current math curriculum was adopted in 2015, and while state standards have not changed, California adopted a new math framework in 2023. With the new math framework now established and further clarity around the California English Learner Roadmap, the recommended curriculum will support the instructional shifts in math to better meet the diverse needs of today's learners. This slide highlights the critical decision point regarding our current math instructional materials. Challenges with big ideas math, our current adoption, include weak instructional practices, outdated content, and lack of technical support, leading to persistent struggles with differentiation. Data from state and local assessments show only modest growth, especially in grade 11, indicated we are not accelerating learning effectively. The math framework emphasizes improved instructional practices and better integration of the standards for mathematical practice. In March 2025, a strategic process for curriculum adoption began with a steering committee. From March to May, the committee trained with OCDE on the new math framework for evaluating pilot curricula. In May, consensus was reached on 2 publishers. And during the fall of 2025, pilot teachers tested both materials, gathering feedback from students, teachers, and caregivers. In January, pilot teachers evaluated the data and made recommendations. The Curriculum Council then reviewed and unanimously recommended Reveal, which was then displayed publicly for 30 days. The process was inclusive, transparent, and data-driven. We convened a pilot team of 16 teachers representing all 4 comprehensive high schools. This included both general ed and special ed teachers, as well as those teaching college prep and honors courses. So we had a well-rounded perspective across student needs. To evaluate materials, we used our PYL USD adoption criteria developed in partnership with OCDE, and in addition to teacher, student, and caregiver feedback or surveys, the committee reviewed student work samples. Altogether, this ensured our recommendation reflects not only one viewpoint, but a comprehensive review grounded in both instructional quality and stakeholder voice. Teachers piloted McGraw-Hill's California Reveal and Savas CA Envision Plus. Both are fully aligned to California state standards for Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, and aligned to the California Math Framework. Teachers piloted both curricula in real classrooms to evaluate instructional quality, usability, and student engagement. While both programs offered alignment through the pilot process, key differences emerged in how each supported instruction and student learning. Teacher feedback played a vital role in reaching consensus. Key ratings included engagement in collaborative supports, 4.0, coherence across courses, 3.6, and flexibility for student needs, 3.5. Teachers noted the variety of instructional resources, alignment with standards, and real-life tasks that enhance student engagement in math. The program's clear routines and user-friendly structure aid consistent classroom implementation. Supports for English learners, especially in language development, were also highlighted. Overall feedback confirmed the program as rigorous, practical, with high usability, aligning with student feedback and pilot team recommendations. Student voice was another important factor in reinforcing the pilot team's recommendation. Direct feedback from 349 students who participated in the pilot is presented on this slide. In terms of engagement, the average rating was 2.36 on a 4-point scale, most students falling in the middle range. They weren't as excited as they will be about the dogs, I'm sorry. When asked about difficulty, the average was 2.6, indicating that students generally felt the content was just right, with a slight lean towards more challenge. Overall, textbook ratings averaged 2.89 out of 5, again showing moderate but positive perception from students. Examining comparative feedback, students consistently preferred the Reveal program, particularly in the textbook design, assessments, online tools, and overall engagement. Students specifically called out example problems, practice opportunities, and tutorial videos as helpful supports for learning. Input from 98 caregivers revealed that most believe the program fosters meaningful student engagement and understanding through text and online resources. While students generally found the program interesting, opinions did vary. Mixed feedback was noted regarding lesson connections to students' lives, indicating a need for improvement. Caregivers emphasized the importance of having access to textbooks and resources at home. During a 30-day public review of the materials, no comments were received. Overall, caregiver feedback was positive and supports the recommendations direction. Curriculum adoption must align with the strategic priorities of our district. California Reveal supports LCAP goals by enhancing math achievement and outcomes for all students. It includes resources for multilingual learners, aiding language development and access to rigorous math. The program addresses achievement gaps, reinforces standards-based instruction, and emphasizes conceptual understanding. Built-in assessment tools enable real-time adjustments to teaching. Overall, this adoption is a strategic initiative to strengthen teaching and learning in line with the district's goals. The total cost for the 7-year adoption is approximately $1.35 million, which includes both instructional materials and digital platform access. The adoption will be funded through lottery funds aligned to the forecasted allocation for this expenditure. Online platform access is included for the full duration of the 7-year adoption, and additionally, lottery funds will continue to support the ongoing digital licensure, ensuring there are no unexpected costs to the general fund. This investment provides long-term stability and access to both print and digital resources. To ensure a strong rollout, we have a detailed implementation and monitoring plan. All course-specific teachers will be trained before the 26-27 school year, with makeup sessions in August for new hires or those who missed earlier training. We'll provide continuous, specific professional learning based on teacher needs, guided by quarterly surveys. And the adoption process will focus on effective classroom implementation, supporting teachers throughout to maximize impact on student learning. So, tonight, the High School Steering Committee, Pilot Team, and Curriculum Council bring forth a final recommendation to the Board of Education for your consideration. Recommendation to adopt California Reveal Math for a 7-year cycle with full implementation beginning in the 26-27 school year. Teachers found that Reveal provides strong, rigorous instruction while also offering meaningful supports for personalization. It effectively builds on students' prior knowledge and aligns with how students learn best. Reveal, already on the California State Approved list, includes engaging, relevant tasks that connect math to real-world applications, providing strong supports for multilingual learners, particularly around academic language development. The team is confident the recommendation is both instructionally sound and broadly supported across the system. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions about math?
Math has answers.
It has concrete answers most of the time. That is true if you get into algebra. Okay, so we're going to move on now to 24.2, if you'll keep moving on.
The other two I don't have as robust of a presentation prepared because they are smaller adoptions. You're welcome. But they went through the same process of Curriculum Council, a 30-day display, pilot, the whole exact process that we have in our district.
Given the size of the number of students at Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry touches versus a specific class in writing or a specific class in business math, it was important that you all know the process that everybody went through and the thoughtfulness that went into the decisions made by all our teachers. As far as the other two, we can answer questions, but it's more of a singleton as a class, so I certainly didn't ask the team to give you that much background about it.
Well, 7-year adoption is much more significant. Yes. And we've taken a lot of time and paused our middle school math so that it aligns. Maybe share that.
I can talk to that. Earlier in your consent agenda, you noticed that there was bridge materials for the current adoption of mathematics in middle school grades. We went through the process alongside the Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, but ultimately, when we started doing the assessment of how did it go in the surveys, what we found was really kind of a reaction to the curriculum. And so ultimately, we really struggled with whether or not we invest in a 7-year adoption on something that you would essentially give a C. And so ultimately it gave us the opportunity to pause because what we're looking at is with what they were piloting, we could have been operating with a curriculum for K-5, a different curriculum for 6-8, and a curriculum for Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. This gives us an opportunity to bring our middle school teachers in with our elementary teachers who are going through an adoption process now and try to create some alignment K through 8 for mathematics curriculum, which is really helpful for our schools that have a 6th grade at elementary and those that have a 6th grade in middle school, so that there is an opportunity for those things to work together and not have two different curricula sitting in an elementary school. So pausing gave us a bit of a gift, an accidental gift.
Thank you for that. Okay, so with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Got a 5-0 and a +1. And that brings us now to my next page. To our action items, human resources. So we'll ask for a motion first for CSEA, our resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2526, Classified School Employee Week.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. And Dr. Kim, any comments?
Thank you for your support of our Classified School Employees Week. Certainly, these folks are the lifeblood of the schools. They work hand in hand with our teachers to support our students. They support our families. They feed our children. They get our kids back and forth to school safely. And so I just want to provide my support and gratitude for our classified employees and thank the board for acknowledging their work through Classified School Employees Week.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to ask Chris if she would read our resolution for us.
Thank you. I'm still awake. So we're good. We're good. Good evening. Okay, thank you. My name is Chris Lawyer, and I am a proud president of our classified union, 293. I'm here tonight to speak about the heart of PYL-USD, our classified employees. Behind every successful student is a team of 1,423 dedicated classified employees. We are the staff members that you don't hear about often, but we're there every day with your students serving this district. We choose PYL-USD because we are passionate about public education, and we believe this district is a place where every student is supported, embraced, and empowered. Our impact is felt in every corner of the school. It's in the bus driver who provides that first smile in the morning, the nutrition service worker who keeps our kids fueled and ready to learn every day, and our instructional assistants, custodians, technology specialists, and more, who ensure our classrooms are safe, functional, and innovative. In total, we represent 147 vital jobs at this district. This year's theme for Classified Employees Week is Trusted, Inclusive, and United. Kind of a good theme for tonight. These aren't just words to us, they are a standard we live by every day. Whether we are the first faces greeting visitors at the behind the counters, professionally keeping operations seamless, we are united for our students. As we approach the week in May, from May 17th through the 23rd, I ask that you join us in celebrating the unsung heroes who give so much to Placentia-Yorba School District. So now I'm going to read the resolution that has been adopted. Whereas California school employees are extraordinary workers who provide essential services and contribute to every day of the operations of our schools, and whereas classified employees are often the first faces who greet visitors to our schools. And whereas classified employees are hardworking, dedicated professionals, many of whom are behind the scenes keeping our operations running smoothly. And whereas California salutes the important contributions of classified school employees during the Classified School Employee Week. And whereas this year we will be celebrating the themes Trusted, Inclusive, and United. And whereas classified employees are important members of Placentia-Yorba School District team. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Placentia-Yorba School District Board of Education designates May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as California Week of Classified Employees. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. And a therapy chicken. Okay, so next we're going to 25.2 resolution for California Week of the Teacher. Motion and a second, please.
I'll motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Dr. Kim, any comments?
Just as we spoke about our CSEA employees and how valuable they are, we know our teachers shape our children's lives each and every day. They make a difference for every kid who walks through their classrooms, and I just want to express my gratitude for the difference that they make in this district. And frankly, in every district I've ever worked in, our teachers work incredibly hard to make a difference for kids, and I'm grateful. So thank you.
And Gloria Johnson from APLE will share the resolution with us.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am awake as well. It is getting late, but we are still here for all 7 of us in the room. What a great opportunity for me to be able to share this today. You know, being able to be in the room where we got to honor all the achievements of our students. To see the basketball team from El Dorado, which was very cool because I got to see one of my former students there. So I'm going to, I'll claim credit, right? Because, obviously, to see our academic decathlon team, to everything that gets reported in the Good News Report, it just supports everything that's happening in our classrooms and across the campuses. So it is truly my honor to be able to stand here and read the resolution. And also it's great practice because I do miss reading aloud. It was one of my favorite things to do every single day, and Tanya can attest to that. So resolution number 2527, California Week of the Teacher Proclamation. Whereas California's teachers are among the best educated, most credentialed, and hardest working educators in the country, and whereas the prosperity of our state and our nation is determined by the skills and abilities of the next generation, and whereas our students depend on educators to guide them on the road to success, and whereas the innovation, creativity, and problem-solving skills needed to maintain California's leading edge derives from the quality of its teachers, and whereas teacher quality depends on a citizenry, all 7 of us, that values education and provides the resources to support it. And whereas good teaching grows in value and pays dividends far beyond the classroom, now therefore be it resolved that the Placentia-Yorba Unified School District Board of Education designates May 4th through 8th, 2026 as California Week of the Teacher. The board encourages all students, parents, and school district employees to participate in celebrations that express and show appreciation to the amazing teachers throughout the Placentia-Yorba Unified School District. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Kim, you're right. We have amazing staff, both CSEA and APLE. So with that, let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Motion carries 5-0 plus 1 from Simran. Okay. Last 25.3.
I'll make a motion to approve the joint sunshine proposal between PYLUSD and the Association of Placentia Linda Educators.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Dr. Kim, would you share comments, please?
I'm going to hand this over to Mr. McGow.
Thank you. Just want to say thank you to Apple. They did a really nice job in the support of us building this together, and we're looking forward to productive negotiations in the future.
So simple. All right. Comments?
Did you see my face over here? I'm all.
Okay, so with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0 plus 1. And that brings us now to board report. And Todd, we can start with you.
Perfect. Despite it being tax season and me being chained to my desk regularly, I did get out to see a few things. I got to go to the El Dorado Once Upon a Mattress play, which is fantastic. I always love going to the school theater stuff. It's so fun seeing the kids get to use their gifts. And then I did go to the art show at the Nixon Library and saw all the wonderful art and the art that we were given by students. That's also up for display in there, right? Very, very cool. And just, again, getting to see our students' talents on display is great. And also just related to the students that came tonight. They came and they're using their talents and abilities to do things for themselves and their fellow students, and I think that's great. Lastly, I will just make one quick little plea along with a lot of the parents that came up and spoke about Parkview. I think Parkview is a gem. I've said it several times before. It is one of the most unique things that we have in our district that I think if it changes too drastically, it's not going to do what it's meant to do. So I want to make sure that we keep as much as possible the culture and the focus of Parkview to continue to be a homeschool style environment that encourages students that don't learn best online or don't learn best in a regular classroom education experience. And I think that it's important that we make sure that we keep that in mind when we do anything as far as changing any of our curriculums and pathways and things, that we keep in mind the purpose as to why those things exist and why they were successful. I think Parkview is a perfect example of a thing in this district that I think started as kind of like a side idea and then just turned into, I think it's just a fantastic option for several different students. Not for every student. It's not for every student. It's not meant to be. But I think that I want to just, again, reiterate that I support the traditional Parkview environment, and I want to make sure that that is considered. As I know there are things that do have to change from efficiencies and from legal from state law standpoints. Those are required, but as much as possible that we can keep the overall essence of what Parkview is, I think is really, really important, and it's something I think that our district can lean into and use to continue to grow student body from areas that other districts can't as we get into this season of declining enrollment and whatever's ahead in the future. And also, go AI.
I wasn't even going to give a board report tonight because I can't remember anything. It feels like we've been gone for so long, so I can't remember if I talked about last time, this time, like when we did it. So I was just going to mention, the only thing I want to mention is there's a big lawsuit against iReady. I don't know if we need to be prepared with that. And also, I've had some, in this whole iReady ordeal, I've had a lot of parents reaching out asking how we can reduce the screen time in the classrooms. And, you know, some people want to get rid of it completely, K through 8. I don't know if that's a feasible option, but it is something that's really starting to get talked about. And so it might be something that is on our radar.
Okay. Last month, during board policy discussion 1445, response to immigration, Mrs. Blades made the statement that she called the Placentia City Council and Placentia Police Department and played to them what I said at a prior board meeting. And they said, we don't know what she's talking about, is what she reported. And I don't know who she talked to, and I don't know what they said, or I'm not implying anything, but I just want to be clear that in June of last year, the Placentia City made a statement on ICE activity in the city of Placentia, where they basically said ICE agents have been present in areas within Placentia. The Placentia Police Department said it's not in regular communications with ICE. The department does not receive operational updates from ICE, and the city emphasized its continued normal police services. So it is a fair statement that that the person that she talked to might not realize because they're not keeping direct contact. But here's the press release. And then also somebody in the community emailed and talked to the public information officer, where he did write back and say that there has been one confirmed ICE encounter in Placentia that he was aware of. So, and there's been plenty of reports that have been documented with pictures that I've seen on social media. So I just wanted to make sure that we are clear on that. I had a very busy month. I was gone quite a bit, but I was able to do a few things. I went to Valadez Middle School Future Ready Day, and the campus does such a great job bringing in professionals in multiple areas, and I got to sit into two presentations, one with a Delta pilot and one with an architect, and I loved how they interacted with the students and what they said. And I love these inspiring words that I kind of started jotting down from them. They said, just do it. And it's not a race to complete school, and love what you do for a career. And I was just really grateful for them taking the day off to integrate with these middle school students. I also went to the Chapman University Holocaust Art and Writing Contest, and this is really an inspirational event full of students sharing their discovery into learning more about Holocaust survivors and composing a poem, writing a prose, creating an original art piece or a film. And the theme of the event was holding on to hope, and 3 of our students were recognized for placing. Jacqueline Vogelty was placed second place in middle school art. Kate, I'm going to butcher this last name, Yamanaski, for first place for middle school film. And Shayla Bay, who I believe she was here tonight, wasn't she? Second place in high school art category. And so they learned about their survivor and created a piece to represent their lives. And it was a very moving ceremony, and I was there with President Buck. I was able to attend the Music Man at Yorba Linda High School, And wow is all I have to say. The students were so talented. The acting, singing, and dancing were amazing. And the show was entertaining. And my friends that I went with, they were so impressed. And they're like, invite us to the next one. So I got to tell them that we have little Shop of Horrors this weekend. Love Placentia is coming up April 25th, and we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And coincidentally, Love Yorba Linda is also having their volunteer day the same day. This is a great opportunity to come out and serve in your city. Community service hours for students that need it can be earned, and you can go to loveplacentia.com or loveyorbalinda.org to see what projects are available and get involved. And it's always a great day. And that is the end of my report.
First of all, I want to tell everyone that I hope you had a wonderful and restful and recharging spring break. I hope it was everything you wanted, plus more. So I know we're ready to end the year on a strong note. Since the last board meeting, I had the opportunity to attend several outstanding events across the district. I was also at Valadez's Future Ready Day. The students were engaged with professionals from a wide range of fields, including aviation. The Delta pilot was very cool. I went to that one too. Law enforcement, our Placentia PD officers were there as well. Healthcare, media, and education. The students' thoughtful questions and active participation were very impressive. They had wonderful questions and were very insightful and really good active listeners, so that was really impressive. One of the quotes that stuck out to me, actually, that you talked about quotes, was one of the presenters said that the smartest person can also be the most useless. And it was great because it went to Dr. Kim's motto of having those durable skills. You can be the smartest person and know everything, but if you can't communicate, if you can't critically think, if you can't express or work with a group to express those thoughts and work together, it's basically not much is going to get done. So that was a wonderful, and that was a business person that actually said that. He had a bunch of great quotes, but that one really stuck out to me. So thank you to the presenter for that. I also participated in the Shamrock and Run 5K. It was a wonderful community event sponsored by the Reach Foundation. It was great to see the community partners come together, and I especially enjoyed watching the Lego team, our Fire Sharks, showcase their projects. The principal for a day luncheon was on March 18th, and it was another highlight of our culinary programs from El Dorado, Valencia, and Yorba Linda high schools did an exceptional job preparing delicious meals, and their dessert auction helped raise valuable funds for their programs. Chad did a wonderful job being the auctioneer, and it was very exciting and entertaining, and it was a meaningful way for to connect with and showcase our schools to the community leaders that were there being principals for a day at their schools in the morning. I was honored to attend the Daughters of the American Revolution Essay Contest Award ceremony. There were several PYL USD students across all grade levels were recognized for their achievements. They had to, I know the elementary schools wrote an essay about who they would want to, which of the Declaration of Independence signers would they want to have lunch with. So there was some that I learned about that I didn't realize were the signers, so that was great. This event highlighted the importance of preserving the legacy of our founding fathers. The Unified Dance was a joyful and inclusive event filled with music, games, crafts, food, and connection. Thank you to all the staff and student volunteers who made the day such a memorable experience. This event had me smiling for days, days. Some students refused to leave the dance floor even for pizza that was being served, and that's how much fun it was. I also visited Ruby Drive Elementary and Brookhaven Elementary. At Ruby Drive, I observed avid strategies in action with strong student engagement and clear evidence with high expectations and meaningful relationships. I could see the cohesiveness in all the classrooms. I was able to join Mrs. Carmona as she said farewell to the students leaving for science camp in Irvine. And thank you, Mrs. Carmona, for your kind welcome. At Brookhaven, classrooms reflected high-quality, standard-based instruction in a positive and supportive environment. Mrs. Fisher clearly fosters a culture of kindness with high expectations as well. She received many hugs, smiles, and heart hands from her students, and I'd like to thank all the staff there at Brookhaven and Mrs. Fisher for her hospitality as well. The student art exhibition artworks, which we spoke of earlier at the Nixon Library, is really remarkable and is a must-see. I have to agree with everyone else. The level of talent that we have is, I mean, I know I say it probably every time, but it never ceases to amaze me. It was really inspiring to see the students work and to see their families and their friends there to recognize them. It was really great. Thank you to Dr. Summers and the VAPA staff and the Nixon Library staff for helping our students shine. Finally, I attended the District Color Guard Showcase, where the middle and high school teams delivered impressive performances. The dedication of the students, along with the support of their families and lots of volunteers, was evident through the evening. I loved all the performances. Someone asked me which my favorite one was, and I couldn't decide because they were all great. So the artistry was remarkable, and the many hours of practice and preparation was evident with all the performances. So this concludes my board report. I hope everyone has a safe and happy April.
Thank you. I'll just highlight a few things that I attended, and then I have a list of things that are coming up that you should know about. I attended at the same night as Artworks. I started there and scooted over to the Exceptional Educator Awards, which was happening right down the street, luckily, right around the corner at the same time, and got to see the award ceremony, the end of the award ceremony for our special educators, some of our students. It was a lovely night, and I think it gets bigger every year. So if you haven't made it to that, please go next year. I attended the Shamrock and Run, and this year they had an entrepreneur village, which was awesome. And so I bought these cute little items that our students made and were selling in their little shops, little fidget spinners and various things. So I'll put those there to look at if you want. And I also attended the Chapman Holocaust Art and Writing Awards. I never want to miss that. It really is emotional. When I first started going there 10 plus years ago, there were a lot of Holocaust survivors. And this year there were just a handful, and it's getting smaller and smaller every year. So it really is a very important event, especially now for our students. Pretty soon there won't be anybody to actually have those conversations with. So it really is a great opportunity for them to be in the same room. I attended the vocational nursing graduation for North Orange County ROP, the adult education program. They are ranked 4th in the state, and it is a much cheaper way to get your LVN than anywhere else. It's around $20,000 a year, or for the whole program. They had 28 graduates from all over North Orange County, from students that have attended our schools and other North Orange County schools. But if you have anybody that might be interested in that, it is an adult program. It's very inexpensive compared to other ones, and it is worth it. So just passing that along. And then upcoming things happening, the Yorba Linda Women's Club Art and Scholarship Awards Night is coming up, where we'll see even some of those artworks. The awards that were, the art pieces that were done there will be recognized at that event. Avid Senior Standout Awards, you mentioned, that's coming up this week. I'll be attending, and the Middle School Avid Scholars ceremony at Angel Stadium as well. Prism is coming up this weekend at El Dorado. If you haven't been to Prism, you should check it out. And I'm looking forward to, I was invited to go to Esperanza High School to see the jazz performance before they go to New York. So if you're interested in that, I'm sure that you could also go for their practice. But please, let's celebrate them. It's so exciting they get to go to New York City for the jazz performance there, essentially Ellington. And then you mentioned Little Shop of Horrors. I had forgotten that was coming up, so I'm adding that to my calendar so that I can go see that this weekend. I missed Music Man, which is such a big bummer. I was in that show when I was in middle school, so it brings back a little bit of memories. And that is it for me. Happy Earth Day to everyone. I say that for our students that did the hard work on our Climate Coalition resolution tonight. So have a great April and enjoy the rest of your April. And we're going to close tonight in honor of one of our former teachers. Miss Carol Holtz is a beloved member of the PYL USD family who dedicated more than 3 decades to Valencia High School. Mrs. Holt served as an inspiring business teacher and cheer advisor, touching the lives of countless students. She was not only a dedicated educator, but a visionary leader, playing a foundational role in establishing our Valtech Academy, a program that continues to create such great, meaningful opportunities for our students. So on behalf of the Board of Education and the entire district community, we extend our heartfelt condolences to her family, friends, colleagues, and many of her students whose lives she influenced. She will be greatly missed. So I'll make that motion, and I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0 plus 1. And thank you, Simran, for sticking it out with us. Thanks, everybody. We close at 9:34.